Hello, horror fans. Welcome to Death by Podcast, episode 57. I am your host, Adam. That's your other host,
Evan.
And tonight we are doing a special. That's what it is. We are talking about Stranger Things season 4, part 1, which is episodes 1 through 7.
It is a part 1. It's not like, so they're doing more this year.
Yeah. So July 4th of July weekend is 8 and 9 come out. So less
really,
than,
is that
month,
it?
A month, and that's it for the season. I think season 5 is going to be the final season, which who knows when that'll come out.
What a weird way to release. I mean, it's one thing to do like a bigger season, but split it in 2. But then to do like 7 episodes, skip a few weeks, and then do the last 2. Maybe it's so that everybody can talk about the finale. Oh no, because they're doing another season.
Yeah. I think it's because I read an article an interview with the Duffers, and they said that they just had so much story to tell in this season. They noticed each episode was becoming like its own movie, because I think every one clocks in over an hour.
Yeah, over an hour.
And number 7 was like an hour and 40 minutes. So the last 2 episodes, one of them's an hour and a half, and then the final one's 2.5 hours.
Jesus Christ.
So it's like, which I love, man. And I know you do too when it's good, but
yeah, well, we'll get into that, you know.
But it's totally unorthodox way of, storytelling, especially for what we've seen and what we know. But the fact that that's also a Netflix thing, that they allow their creators to do whatever they want, like the content or not. Netflix is good about that.
I'm glad we're finally at a point. I for years I've been saying, like, why, even like once streaming shows started coming around, they were still an hour or a half hour or whatever. And it's like, why? Like let it be as long as it needs to be. In other countries, that's how they do series, where it's like the Cowboy Bebop is 26 episodes, and that's it. And the Cowboy Bebop, you ever see it?
No,
I'm not a big anime guy, but that's awesome. That's what but anyway, it's 26 episodes. And it's over. They don't even release it until it's done.
Yeah, I mean, it's exciting for me because it's unexpected. Like you don't know, like you go into. We're going to touch on a couple Disney things. It's like everything is, especially network TV. It's all just like, this is how long, and you can expect how long. So when you're watching something that like you're approaching the end. But when I was watching these episodes, I was like, oh shit, it's about to end. And then I'd like see how much time is left, and there's still like 30 minutes or something. And I'm like, oh, that's awesome. Yeah, it's interesting. And it's definitely enough. But before we get to that, we got some news. Did you have a news item?
Yeah, there's some news.
We had some news and some trailers we wanted to talk about. And
so they announced, Netflix announced they're doing a Ghostbusters cartoon.
Oh, snap.
With Jason Reitman, and I forget the guy's first name is Gil. He was one of the producers on Afterlife.
Julian, is it Gil Julian?
but yeah, all they announced is that they're doing it. They haven't said anything else, what it's called, just that it's happening.
It's interesting that it's on Netflix. Like I don't know who puts out Ghostbusters. Isn't it like Warner Brothers?
It was Columbia. Columbia is.
You would think that it would.
Well, they're like they're owned by somebody.
Sony.
Sony. That's what it is. It is. It's Sony. How could I forget?
All right, so Sony doesn't have its own
integrity, or like
that too. Yeah, man. I don't know. It's a cartoon. I mean, that's the safe part of it. I think is that if you don't like it, it's a cartoon, and it'll be easy to sort of separate it from your movie canon.
I mean, it's the one place where Sony seems to get it right. Like,
that's
look
true.
at Spider-Verse.
Yeah,
I think it's probably because they had the least amount of involvement. I'm sure it was just like animators doing their thing, and how they can't really fuck it up.
Well, and like I just said with Stranger Things, like if Ivan Reitman's involved and it's on Netflix.
Jason Reitman, Ivan Reitman is no longer with us.
Rest in peace. Yeah. With that in mind, it'll be what they want it to be, what the creators want it to be. So we just have to see if that's what we want it to be or something that we want. But like I said, cartoons are easy to separate from canon and lore. That's cool that they're still rolling with some Ghostbuster stuff. We knew that was coming down the line.
Yeah.
Any other news item?
Not really, news wise, but
we had some trailers.
Three trailers or teasers, actually. Well, one trailer and two teasers, I guess.
Which ones are you talking
about? The teasers are for
save the big one for the end.
Yeah, teasers. First teaser is Wednesday.
What'd you think of it? We just watched it.
I mean, back in my day, a teaser was a shorter trailer or like this is literally an actress standing in front of a green screen for 5 seconds and then just work. I mean, that's what, not to bring they had to announce season 3 of Star Trek Picard in the middle of season 2 and had to like say they had to ruin that they had the entire Next Generation cast coming back and there's no footage because they haven't shot it, or I guess they might have. It's literally just these actors ADR lines with no footage and then just their names. That's a teaser. Like, it's weird. What is this? Yeah. This is a nothing thing. Like, it looks like my cousin made it in his fucking basement.
Yeah. It's just to show the actress and be like, here's the actress, here's what Wednesday looks like, and here's some names that are making it. And Tim Burton's name was up there. Another Netflix thing. I feel like people are going to think we're Netflix shills. We're not. There are trailers like that come out. Like, we're going to talk about the new, I'm going to touch on Prey, the new Prey trailer, but it's the second trailer that's come out. The first one that they called a teaser was like an actual trailer. It was a minute and some change and it showed stuff. So it's weird how they do that. This is more of like a promo spot or something.
I mean, it's literally a moving bus ad.
Yeah.
That's totally all it is. Like, there's nothing more is told about this than could be conveyed on the side of a bus.
Right.
Like, all you know is that Tim Burton is involved and it's the actress in costume.
Yeah.
That's it.
I mean, I hate to say it, man, like for a couple of reasons. I'm not against watching this, but I love Tim Burton and I haven't seen his last 3 or 4 movies because he lost his mind and lost his style. And also, I'm not an Addams Family fan, but I am interested in, like, I guess the fact that it's Netflix and Tim Burton, but I'm not really looking forward to it.
I am an Addams Family person, but and I used to love Tim Burton, man. I think he's more of a brand now. Like, it's literally, he's like, I mean, not even Stephen King, but like, he's literally just
he's a name.
Thing. Yeah, he's a thing you can slap on your movie.
Yeah.
And it gives it some sense of street cred, I guess, or like maybe.
But he's come to, like, I don't know. I want to say it was his Willy Wonka that was the end of my interest in him, because that was just utter dumbness.
I watched that one at the dentist the other day, like while I was getting my teeth done.
Had you seen it before?
I've turned it off a couple times. Like, this movie keeps sneaking in for me to like, and usually
just the Oompa Loompa scene alone is just.
I watched. I was in the dentist seat for over an hour, and I watched, because usually I can, like,
Christ, doing what? Were they?
I was getting my teeth cleaned. I was doing a bunch of stuff.
You're missing your teeth are all cool.
All my teeth are fake. But so they had I just throw on Next Gen. But this time I was late and I was like, all right, let's just do it. I didn't want to be a dick. Like, give me the remote. I want to, whatever. Because last time I had the volume up and it was loud and everything and like whatever. This time it was like, oh shit. And once I realized what it was, I was like, fuck. Okay. And I just watched it.
Oh, it was just on, kind of. Okay.
It was on. Yeah. And it's amazing how much it helps, like how much you can pay attention to it, like while you're getting out of here, man. Like, you just double down.
Public Enemies is great.
It's a really good movie,
dude. What's the one where he's the writer and he goes out and
Secret Window
with the corn and braces? That movie, it's awesome, but it's also really fucking weird.
I like that one.
The Ninth Gate, is that one?
Yeah, that's another good Johnny Depp movie where he's a writer.
Yeah.
I think
anyway, this isn't the John Depp podcast, Kevin. I'm glad you brought up Star Trek, though. I realized something today I had 17 episodes of Next Gen playing in the background. we always bring up like I can never put my finger on Star Trek aliens, and we've talked about it before. I realized what it is. Star Trek, the problem with Star Trek aliens. Star Trek aliens, Star Wars aliens are like creatures that you from another world, and it's like, wow. Star Trek aliens are like a disease that you don't want to get. That's what they look like. They look like a disease. And I'm like,
I mean, depending
what?
on the species.
Oh my God. I saw one today. I don't know what episode it was. So his ears wrapped around the back of his head and connected like a pair of headphones, but there was skin.
Yeah, it's a Ferengi. That's a super common one. I thought you were gonna come with.
And then he had little dangly red things in his hair, so he looked like a virus.
Oh wait, he had hair,
like hair with like little red.
He didn't have like giant earlobes that went around to the front of his face.
No, they went to the back, like connecting headphones would. It was disgusting, and I was like,
okay,
you look like a disease, and I was like, that's it. Star Trek aliens look like diseases. So figured it out.
All right.
So yeah, Prey, new trailer for Prey. That's the new Predator movie came out. The trailer.
It's going to be on Hulu next month, I think August.
I'm
or it might be in July.
I'm excited, man.
Yeah,
you haven't seen a trailer, right?
I haven't seen a trailer. Right. All I know is Dan Trachtenberg. I know it's got something about Native Americans, but that's all I know.
So, all right. So the entire movie, the entire cast is Native American. It's like, I'm probably talking out of my ass, but I read it was like a checklist of like written by, produced by, acting, all Native American. So
except Dan Trachtenberg,
who's
like whiter than me.
I don't even know who he is, but anyway, but it's like, it's going to be immersive. Even I think Hulu's releasing a version of it that'll have the original language as an option. I don't know. They're going out of their way to be like, here's where it's set and immerse you as much as you can, which I think is fucking cool, because if this works and they're smart, like we said last episode or whenever it was, dude, just do a Predator movie, make every single one of them a period piece. This
sounds like Apocalypto with Predator. Like,
fuck that movie, man.
I saw it in theaters and was like, this is awesome.
Dude, that for the birth scene, get out of here. But yeah, I'm excited, man. It's gonna be I think pretty cool. And they show, the Predator, and I wonder if by calling it Prey, and it's still, the logo has it looks like the Predator logo with the cuts in the letters, so it's familiar, but I wonder by calling it Prey, which is cool, but I wonder if they're gonna not bring in the audience that would make this successful. You know what I mean?
Anybody that gives a shit about Predator knows about it,
right? But any movie that's a genre type movie makes the majority of its money off of the general audience, not the sweaty Star Wars nerds, not the sweaty Star Treks, especially a movie like Predator, where
but I would argue the Predator kind of lost that. Like there's no one's going to see the Predator. There's no general audience that gives a shit about Predator.
You're right.
Like the only people who are going to see it is people who are chasing the dragon for fucking Predator 1 and 2.
That's me.
Yeah. That's all we're doing.
Yeah. I really hope that. Oh man, I've never felt this way about a movie, a franchise movie, and been like, had the thought like, man, how cool would it be if this was actually a good movie, like an actual good entry in the franchise, because it's been so bungled,
Yeah. Because they're trying to, I don't know. That's what's wild. They're trying to like replicate. I don't know what they're doing, because they even like Predators was fine, but it was
Predators was decent.
Yeah, it was, but it was just, hey, I don't know. Like, yeah, you have such a cool idea. I think we talked about it before, but that just when they show that gun in Predator 2, it like alarms my head. Like, oh my God, like why Wild West, like, Christopher Columbus, you could do anything. You can literally do anything, and they don't do it.
How would a Wild West one work? They would get their asses handed to them.
Well, I mean, technically, this one kind of might be a Wild West. You know what I mean? If it's like,
well, this one,
maybe they come in to smoke a bunch of cowboys, and then these guys like.
No, I don't think we're going to see anything other than like Native Americans in this. But if you're comparing like, a Predator comes to the Wild West, or a Predator comes to the woods, the feral woods of pre-white people America, I want to say that the skill level over here with the Native Americans far surpasses moronic cowboys running around with they're gonna get their asses beat.
Yeah, well, that's what was cool about the first Predator was like it was just it was about like the terrain. Like once you know what I mean? Like it was
but
about
you had the elite,
Yeah. I don't know. Like what do?
You could still do it and just like
I'm just trying to think of a very cool time in history to do.
I wouldn't mind seeing, because the way I always think about Predators is what's the challenge, because that's their thing. They're hunters. They do it for sport. So what about like a pirate thing where it's all these ships are on the water? So number one, how does the Predator get out there, and why is he out there? Is there a water predator or like?
Yeah, I mean, you could. That's the thing. Like that first one, because they don't tell you anything about them. Like, did he go there and they were already there? Did he like track them like specifically because they were all like the elite? You don't have it. I want to say that movie. And what's the other one? Is it Critters? There's another where they
with the bounty hunters.
No, but like where they. Oh no, it's The Thing. And it might be Critters too, where the producers or the suits came in at the beginning and said you have to add in the very beginning before you show anything you have to show a spaceship landing, because otherwise it's going to throw people off and they're going to hate.
But they do that in Predator.
Yeah, I know. I think that's a studio note, but like you have to, because otherwise it's like it seems like Commando for 40 minutes and then all of a sudden
and
like
Dusk Till Dawn.
Yeah, that's what you don't want. It's what I don't know. I mean, either way, Predator works.
Sure. At this point, we know that they're aliens, but I love that, man. Even fucking Trachtenberg, was it Cloverfield? Cloverfield does that at the there's a scene where they're looking at footage and you see a thing come out of the sky and land in the water.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So it's an alien. Predator, The Thing. I like that though, because I like an origin. I like an origin once. I don't need Spider-Man's origin.
I mean,
what's origin cool, over and over.
That's what I mean about Predator, though. In fact, the whole idea of them being hunters, that I didn't think that when I was a kid. Like that was just something like that. I think kind of got added to it. But like originally, it was like, oh, that's just it's a monster killing people. Yeah. Like I didn't see like, oh, I mean, I got that he was like, I don't know. I never saw it as like, oh, he's here for sport.
Well, I think they cover that in the first movie. They talk about that. I don't know if it's with the tribal or the woman, that they find.
Oh yeah, because he's been out there like fucking guys up, right?
Right.
Like for a while.
Yeah, they find the dead squad that's hanging in all the juices.
Yeah, that's right. Oh man, it's been a while. Maybe
it's time to rewatch that. I missed that.
Yeah, movie. It's been a while. That's a good one.
At any point in the franchise, do they go to Predator Land, like wherever the predators live from or come from?
I don't think so. If they do it at all, they do it in
AVP,
Alien vs Predator.
But it's not. I just remember that scene, and I think it's AVP, one of those where the Predator's standing at the top of like a pyramid, and there's just aliens coming up.
I think that's the first one.
It's a pretty cool scene in a shitty movie, but I want to see that. Where do these guys live? That's what I want to see. I want to see something.
I don't want to see it at all. I don't want, because what could it be like? Like, can you imagine like Predators, like
they're just like eating some tacos.
Yeah, man. Like imagine like the beginning. Did you see the Lego movie?
See what?
The Lego movie?
I don't know. Maybe.
I just imagine like everybody like there's like construction workers and office buildings and shit, and like they're all predators. Like I would hate that, man.
You know what though? This is what I think. I don't think predators have a home world. I think they're all just in these ships in the sky, in the space, and they're just landing on different planets, fucking people up. I think that's what all it is. I don't think there's a planet.
I like that they never speak it, like they don't. Nothing gets translated. Nothing gets
Well, except when he talks.
When he laughs.
Oh! It's with Billy's laugh, right? Isn't it Billy's laugh?
Wait, isn't that Billy's laugh at the end of the movie?
Yeah, he's recorded. He's recorded Billy's laugh, and he's playing it back
until it goes like full on like Vincent Price.
Yeah, but that's Billy. It's from a scene earlier that he records it.
I never thought about that.
Really? Because you know how he's constantly recording stuff and playing it back to fuck with people. Like in the second one, what does he do? He's like, he plays something that Danny Glover keeps hearing, and he's like, Danny Glover's like, what the fuck? It's too hot. It's in LA. It's too hot. Am I hearing that? I'm too old for this shit. and he keeps playing it back. I forget what it is.
We should do a double feature of Predator.
I'm gonna have me some fun.
Me and my friend Rich,
gonna have me some fun.
Years ago did a cartoon, and I think there was a movie trailer in it about, actually, yeah, I think the whole plot of the cartoon was a guy. That's what it was. Dracula saw the last like 5 minutes of Predator on TV, and he didn't know what it was, and he went to the video store and was trying to figure it out. And the rental guy is just a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great. I don't know. I don't think it was.
Is this online somewhere?
I hope not.
I'm gonna look on YouTube. I bet it's on YouTube. What's it called?
We'll talk about it later.
Come on. All right. What else do we have? We had Black Adam trailer dropped. Is this something that you're at all interested in? I know you didn't see the trailer.
No, that was what we were saying earlier before the show. We were talking about trailers, and I said, I didn't watch Prey because I'm so interested in it. Sure. And Black Adam I didn't watch because I literally couldn't care less.
I get it.
I don't know anything about Black Adam.
You're anti-rock.
I'm
right?
No, I don't mind The Rock. I mean, I don't mind him. He's just kind of The Rock, you know. Yeah.
Well, I gotta say, man, I feel like every actor, most actors, the thing is to sell a brand, right? And they always like you start just seeing them, but almost if they're worth anything, they usually do one movie where it's like, holy shit, they were made for that. The Rock was made for this movie. Absolutely. Nobody else could play Black Adam but The Rock.
I don't know about Black Adam. I mean,
you don't know who Black Adam is?
I mean, isn't he like the main villain to Shazam?
He's traditionally Shazam's arch nemesis, and they're also, it's The Rock. They're going to try to put a hero spin.
Yeah, they're going to make him a good guy.
I think it's just going to be very light on that. I think he's going to be one of these guys that's like, yeah, for some reason he saved the world, but fuck you. Like, I'm going to kill. He even says, there's a line in the trailer. It's like, somebody's like, heroes don't kill people. And he's like, I do. And so it's like, cool. But
this guy sounds great.
with the mess that the DCU cinematic universe is in, this looks cool because it's got like Pierce Brosnan as Dr. Fate. It's got
that's neat.
It's got who's like so underrated, Pierce Brosnan.
I know. Oh, yeah, Pierce Brosnan. I thought you said Dr. Fate.
And it's got Dr. Fate, Hawkman, Atom Smasher. It's got the Justice Society of America.
Oh, wow.
Which is really cool.
These are all guys I know. Like, I know what they look like because I used to live in comic stores, but I've always said like DC, especially when you get to like that level, like Black Adam and Hawkman. Anytime it just feels like how my wife must feel when I talk to her about like literally any of this shit. You know what I mean? Like when I talk about Star Wars or Marvel or whatever, she's like, "Oh, okay." Like I don't know what it is. It just doesn't do it for me.
I get it. It's a testament to their mess, but even comic wise, I've stopped buying DC comics. It's just too much. It looks good. So what'd you watch? Did you watch anything?
Well, did you want to talk about the big teaser?
I almost forgot it. It was so big. I almost forgot
it. Teaser came out for Rob Zombie's The Munsters. We got basically no new information. It's coming out. They still didn't show Eddie. They basically recreated the theme song.
Yeah, it's the same song.
Sans Eddie and Marilyn.
Like the opening you're talking about to the show.
Yeah. Yeah. And it looked like cosplay. It looked like, like, right? It looked like they were just having fun, but it was like, I don't know.
I don't know. I wasn't expecting anything more, I guess, than gross cosplay. It starts out black and white, and then the big thing is that it's in color. And so halfway through it switches to color. It looks terrifying, man. It just
don't know. It's weird that they're like now in color, and I know the show was in black and white, but they've done things in color before.
The movie Monster Go Home is in color. It was the first time they were in color. It just looks like Rob Zombie trying to just recreate the show, but I can't unsee Sherry Moon Zombie. I can't. The guy who's playing like Herman Munster looks like a freak, and grandpa just looks.
Can I get that on a shirt, like, please? Herman Munster looks like a freak.
And grandpa just looks like, I don't know, like a bizarro version of grandpa. It's just the
I know what you mean.
Really weird.
Here's what's gonna do it for me is the voice. That's why I think Sherry Moon might not work for me. Is the voices like like when they cast Chris Pine as Jim Kirk in in 2009, I was like, fuck this. Who's going to do this? Whatever. I didn't ever heard of Chris Pine. As soon as I heard him talk, I'm like, okay, yeah, this guy worked. Cause he's got a real, it's all in the voice. The face, I was like, fuck this.
Fuck that guy's face.
Well, and I think they were on the same page too. Cause we're not, this isn't, but anyway, yeah, I mean, whatever. It looks like weird. It looks like it's good.
So would you say that you're disappointed?
It looks like a Super Bowl commercial. Like it looks like they were going to
Miller Lite. It's Miller time.
Yeah, it looks like they're about to pull out like Doritos and whatever. How bad could it be?
I think it could be real bad, dude. If you're going into this thing as a Munsters fan, I think you're going to be disappointed on some level. Not like drastically. You still got the themes and the aesthetic probably, but if you're going into this as like, because there's going to be people out there, there's going to be moms and dads who are late 20s, early 30s, who see a sort of Halloween flavored PG movie, and they take their kids to it, and they're going to sit there and watch it, and the whole time be like their brain's going to be like malfunctioning but they won't know why, and then they'll get out of it, and then the next thing they know, they catch little Johnny, Sally shoplifting or killing birds or like doing some weird shit, and then it's like this movie is gonna like taint society, man.
I mean, I think it might be bad at the very, but it I don't know. I think you overestimate. I don't think families go to movies anymore. Well, I think you really got to
whatever they watch it wherever they watch it.
I don't know. We'll see. I really wonder who this is for, or like what is going to be. I bet there's no way it's going to be in theater. I bet it looks like it's going to be on Hulu.
I bet it gets a limited release.
I mean, the Three from Hell got a limited release, and it was one. I mean, not even limited release. Like
that's a zombie horror movie. That's a Rob Zombie.
But that's his bread and butter. You would think that would get a release. He that one we got like the Roadshow treatment, where it was playing in one theater,
right,
for one night only, all throughout the country.
Right. No, that's Rob Zombie has never. His Halloween movies got,
they made bank. They made a lot of money.
Mainstream release. Maybe what was his first one called?
House of Thousand Corpses.
There's an audience and there's a place for his movies. That kind of movie. This one, I bet this gets a semi-wide release, short but wide. Then it goes quickly to some streaming service.
Yeah, we'll see.
I'm telling you,
I wish we had a date. I just wish we had a date.
We will soon, and we'll know. But we'll definitely do an entire show about it.
Oh yeah,
absolutely.
Oh, real quick, I just want to have one thing to bring up. What to watch? Only because I just want people to watch this so that they keep making more of it. Sure. The Orville on Hulu. Hulu rescued it from Fox. It was on for 2 seasons on Fox, and then I think they went to cancel it, but Hulu jumped in, and then the pandemic happened, and it's been like 2 years without this show. It's the most underrated show on TV. It's unreal. It's as good as some of the best Star Trek out there. Does
Hulu have the first 2 seasons also?
Yes, they have the first 2 seasons on there, and then the new season is not called season 3 for some reason. It's called New Horizons, and they're doing the thing where, hey, it's this episode's an hour and 10 minutes. This one's 40, whatever. They can say shit now. Like it's
yay.
Well, it's also like they didn't waste any time. The first episode is dealing with some heavy shit. It's very, very good, man. It's what I wanted out of new Star Trek, and I've been getting fucked by that for a decade now. So
you sold me. I'm gonna check it out. I've got Hulu.
If you like Star Trek and you don't mind, like Seth MacFarlane, I know get some people's skin, but it's great. The first couple episodes are kind of like insert dick joke in Star Trek, which isn't even that bad. That quickly like fades away, and it just becomes a good Star Trek show. It's fantastic.
I saw this. I'll definitely check it out. I saw this episode today where what's the chick's name who played Jean Grey in the X-Men movies?
Famke Janssen.
Yeah, so she's in it, and she plays one of the diseases, and
she's got a thing for Picard, right?
Well, when they introduce her, she makes eyes with the man that crushes, and he makes this face, dude. It's the first time that I heard your words in my head where you're like, oh, he's not the crusher, but he crushes. And like the face he makes back to her is like, it's like,
Oh yeah, he's got
like
that.
This, yeah, totally.
There's some. I'll send you some Riker faces.
Oh my
where he's just
gosh, dude!
oh, like
it's hilarious.
He's got some faces.
They're like looking at each other, and I was just like, this dude, could you be any more obvious? And I didn't realize he was such a scoundrel. It was crazy.
Oh, he's awesome. I mean, like, but he also is like the biggest badass.
But then, yeah,
around.
in the same scene, 3 seconds later, he's all business with Picard. But he took that one moment to just look at her and be like, oh yes.
Yeah.
It was hilarious. What'd you watch? I had a couple, and I'm not going to go into detail, but I just wanted to say, are you a fan of The Boys?
I was. I liked season 1. Season 2 was really a little much for me.
Really?
Well, it was just a little like, I don't know, man. There used to be a thing called metaphor. Like, I don't know. Like, it just felt a little heavy-handed. Okay. And like, yeah, I didn't love season 2. I'll watch season 3, I guess, if I hear it's good.
So it comes out on Fridays, I think, and so far there's 3 episodes. And I watched it all the other night. Man, and I know what you mean. For me, the heavy-handedness is with the graphic. It's like, oh shit, like they did that, like I have no problem with any kind of messages or anything. I can get past that, but sometimes the actual scenarios, I'm like, Jesus Christ, because it just gets under your skin sometimes. The opening scene for season 3, I won't spoil it, but Jesus fucking Christ, I almost turned it off. Like I almost reached a point where it was like, that's too much. Like that's too far even for me.
Wait, what are you? When you say it too far, do you mean like violence wise, or like just
the situation and yeah, there's an aspect of violence that I was like, oh my God, because it's also like it's gonna sound weird if you've watched it, but like a fear of mine. You should just watch the opening scene, if nothing else, for season 3. Right. But then I get past that and it's awesome. I love it. It's a great show. I'm not a fan of the comic. I've never read the comic. It's Garth.
I tried, and I mean that was it. It was like edgelordy, like you know what I mean. It was just like
it's Garth Ennis, man, and he's no holds barred.
Yeah, and I've loved some of the stuff he's written, but that one was just like it felt like I don't know, it felt like a high school freshman being like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
there's a lot of that. But man, the biggest thing, I'll keep coming back for Carl Urban, man. He's awesome, just, man. He's goddamn cool. And it's a great character. The thing that it's a solid show, but there's things definitely where I'm like, that's just too much, man. You just took it too far. This season though has my boy Jansen Ackles from Supernatural.
Oh, okay.
The older brother. That dude, I'll watch anything he does. He's cool. I'm so glad that he's getting a role like this. But the biggest thing that turns me off with the show is how bleak it is. Every single character in the show is an asshole.
Yeah, I noticed that. And that's
like,
when I got tired of it. I'm like, dude,
it's
everybody's
like, every single person.
It's like no character wants to be there. You know what I mean? Like everybody's just constantly bitching.
Well, that like, and just they're douchebags. Like there's no like, you're supposed to identify with what's his name, Dewey or not Dewey. Huey or whatever the fuck his name.
Huey. Dennis Quaid's kid.
Yes. You're supposed to identify with him as like the heart of the show. He's a douchebag. He's a wiener. He's a wiener.
You know what really okay, here's my 2 big things that piss me off about that show. And the first one pisses me off. The other one, like I just kind of roll my eyes at. One, the shit they do with him, like with Billy Joel, really annoys me. Like how dorky it is to like Billy Joel. Like I've seen Billy Joel like 3 times. Like I've seen like 10th row. I love Billy Joel. It's not like what are you talking about?
Yeah,
like,
but that's you bringing your personal shit in there.
No, but like it's like, it would be one thing if it was like he liked. I could even see show to. I don't know, like something that it's weird to me that
I love Billy Joel too, but
they act like he's got 3 heads because he listens to Billy Joel. It's a very popular artist, like. I could even, I know you love Hall & Oates, but I could even see like really Hall & Oates. That would make more sense.
But I would laugh at that. Like you got to just like roll with that shit.
And then they did the stupid thing in the second season where it's like, why I like Billy Joel. And then he had this whole backstory about his mom. And it was just like, fuck off, please. Like, I don't know. Man. And the villain, the second season, I started off loving it. That the villain she started off not a villain. I was like, I really like where they're taking this. Like,
Yeah.
I like that they're commenting on like how corporations are full of shit and how they like use like causes as like, like I'm like, I really like what they're saying here. But then like like I said,
she's a Nazi.
but I don't even mind. I don't even mind. I didn't even mind.
You don't
that
mind
she was, like,
Nazis?
an old zombie. No, I mean, I didn't mind that was like what happened. But like, what got me was like when you make, and again, I don't have any problem with if you make whatever show you want. I'm just saying, like, be a little subtle. Like, if you want to make a show about how like Trump supporters are evil or whatever, do it. But like, maybe be subtle. Like, don't like just use metaphor. Don't make the slogan of the evil corporation make America safe again. That's just like lazy and weird, right?
I
like,
get the laziness, but
it's just lazy. That's what I don't care. Like, if that's what they want to say, like, say it. That's great.
The reason
like,
they do that,
just
though,
lazy.
The reason they do that though is because Trump supporters are so simple-minded that they need to see how they're being made fun of.
No, because nobody wants to watch it and be like, oh, we're the villain. Oh, I want to watch this show.
Well, they can fuck off though. Like I guess.
I mean, there's a lot of them though. I mean, you'd think you'd
want
to, you would want to, maybe not, completely isolate half the fucking country, but whatever.
But it's check it out, man. I think it's one of those shows. There's a lot of shows. It's almost like the best shows, writing wise. I don't at the beginning. I'm like, do I want to watch this? And then I do. It's always worth it. It's a very rich.
That's one where like, yeah, if it got canceled, I don't think I would have noticed, but once I'm short on shows, I think I'll probably check it out.
The Miss Marvel debuted on Disney Plus, the first episode. I know it's one of those characters that's like, you either know who she is or you're either a fan or you're not, or she take her.
I just know she's really popular. I don't know anything about her.
She's in that sort of Miles Morales camp where it's like the new generation of superheroes. She's a cool character in the comics, and I really like the actress that's playing her. It was a solid episode, but it's also geared definitely towards a certain audience. It's the same as like Spider-Verse is a cool movie, but it's definitely geared towards the audience that can't watch a 5-minute YouTube clip for more than 30 seconds. It's very like flashy and sort of like literally flashy, like bright. Look at this bright object, kind of thing. I just hope they don't sacrifice story, which is what Disney's been doing a lot of. But it's interesting. I'm glad it's there. We need more of a mix in that world. Even I was just like, I rewatched one of the Avengers movies recently, and I was just like, man, this is boring. I don't know. So
yep. I mean, yeah, that's one. I mean, I don't know. I'm gonna check out She-Hulk, but I don't know. Like, this. I feel like it's for somebody, but like the Wonder Woman movie, I felt the same way. I'm just like, I've never read a Wonder Woman. I don't care. Like, I don't. Like,
not for you though. That's fine.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, I mean,
or it doesn't have to be for you.
Yeah, I don't have to watch it. Right. That's the thing about this kind of stuff is like I feel like a lot of people feel obligated to see all of it, whether it's to keep up with some ongoing story or just to have a relevant opinion on stuff. I don't know,
I'm like a completionist to an extent, and I'll watch all of it when I have time, but most of it is minutia or becoming that way. And it's not because of the characters. Wonder Woman's an amazing character, but I don't like those movies. I think she's awesome in BVS, which I know you hate. Kenobi episode 4 came out last night. Quickly, it was a short episode. I think the biggest thing to talk about, or at least that I wanted to ask you about, was how you felt about the Vader scene.
Which one? The one where he was like,
so spoilers for Kenobi. It just came out today. Yeah. So spoilers for Kenobi. We're not going to talk long about it, but there's a Vader scene. He walks into the room, gets the force choke on the Inquisitor, says a couple lines. Did anything ring wrong to you in that scene?
It wasn't like, and it's weird.
There's something that
because my radar goes up whenever he's on screen, like in was it Rogue One where he made like a pun and it was like, that's weird, I don't like it, don't
choke on your aspirations or something.
It was just, I mean, it was, and it's a little thing that I shouldn't even, but it was like, I don't like it. Like
a lot of people don't like that line. I like it. I don't know.
This was fine. I didn't like, I mean, it was fine. He comes in, he's gonna like choke her to death, and then she says that she put a bug on Kenobi, and then he's like psyched.
Yeah. Oh, for real? I'm psyched, yo.
Yeah, that was basically what he did. He was like, "Oh, my bad. I'm sorry for."
That's the thing that I have a problem with is that, first of all, Vader looks great, and it's Hayden Christensen in the suit, and I love that. James Earl Jones with the voice that they've modified sounds great, I think. I love the scene, him rushing in, like he just stomps in.
Oh, he's pissed.
He's pissed.
Yeah.
That's the thing, though, and we've seen it in the original trilogy. Any other characters, she would have been dead. You know, in the original trilogy, the dude goes, you know, when something gets fucked up, he goes, "No, I'll go tell Lord Vader." He knows he's going to get fucked. He goes, he tells Vader. Vader chokes him out, looks over at Veers and says, "Now you're on the job." This Vader would not have done this. Vader would have choked her out, looked over at the other Inquisitor and said, now you go. And if you fail, I'm going to do the same to you. So it just didn't feel right.
I had the exact initial thought, but then now that I'm here, you're saying it back. I'm like, I wonder if it's like, maybe it's just because there's not that many Inquisitors. Maybe he's like, I don't have that many of these guys. And,
I feel like there's something going on between her and him. They have a history or something.
I don't know.
She's too untouchable. And there's got to be something.
She's got plot. I think she's not being pushed. That's the wrong word, but she's very like that. That's, I think that's why a lot of people have a big problem with her is she seems like she should be this big part of the show. And I don't know, there's just nothing there. I don't know why I should want her to succeed or not want her to. And maybe it's because she's in that, that's the thing. She's based on her actions. She should be considered like full on villain. Right. But she feels like she's going to turn good any second.
Right. And there's only 2 episodes left, and there's definitely something there. I just wish they had gotten to it by now so that we're not sitting here going, man, you get rid of this character, please. You know, we shouldn't be sitting here doing that because Disney wants us to like her for some reason, but they won't tell us. And that's a pain in the ass. So, and now it's affecting a character like Vader, where I'm like, all right, there's a reason he didn't choke her out. We need to know, and I'm all for letting a story unravel, but it's good to see him. I just wonder what their use of him is going to be going forward. And I think we're going to be seeing a lot of Vader going forward in some other series or whatever. Who knows? You got anything else before we get into Stranger Things?
Yeah.
All right, man. Stranger Things season 4. So it's a lot, and we're not going to go play by play, I don't think, but I think there's some elements that we should talk about. First, the first element is my shirt that I'm wearing.
Yeah.
Right. Badass. It just says Billy.
Yeah.
Rest in peace, dude.
I was going to say we should do, obviously we're doing season 4. We're doing spoilers.
Yeah.
Obviously spoilers for seasons 1 through 3.
Yeah.
And yeah, Billy was awesome last season. And you know what? That actually is one of the things I wanted to talk about. A lot of shows, like when they add new characters, this show is constantly adding new characters, every season.
Yeah. And
some shows you have a hard time giving a shit about them, especially when you're so attached to the previous characters. But
sure.
They I don't know if it's the casting. I think they nail it every season. They bring in new people and they just work. Eddie. I was all over it. Eddie was the best part of the whole show for me. He was great. He felt like same as Billy. He felt plucked right out of 1985.
Right.
Yeah. The casting on the show is awesome.
So you're a fan of the show in general? Going back?
I remember I really liked season 1. I didn't love season 2. And I thought season 3 was much better. This one, it's one of those shows where I like it, but if it got canceled, I'd be like, oh, that I wouldn't ruin my day. I'm
a big fan of it. But again, it's one of those where when it dropped, I was like, I don't know, I'm going to watch it. Absolutely. But I had to almost force myself, but it's then all of a sudden I'm watching 4 episodes a night and they're over an hour each. And it's just, I think it's phenomenal. And I feel like this season upped the ante a lot.
Yeah.
Compared, Billy's my favorite. I got my Billy shirt. Billy's my favorite character. He was a dickhead and I love a redemption story. He his death scene was so fucking great, man. But his character is just a cool character. And I love that how in every season we get this older, Steve was the older if you want to call him a badass. One thing that this show does is that the character that they put in that position, Steve, Billy, Eddie now, and still Steve in a lot of ways. They let them be who they introduced them as. Like they introduced Steve as a badass, even though he, fumbled, and he's still, especially in this season, like when he gets sucked into the upside down and they're like fighting those bat things and he just like tears through them. It's like, oh shit, Eddie, he's been on the run most of the season, but it's not like all this, when they introduce him, he's this badass and a guy that the younger kids look up to. And he still is, even though he's on the run, he still is. They don't neuter him, Yeah. They don't nerf him, as you would say. They just give him awesome story arcs, every character. And that's something that this show does
Eddie,
so well.
That was the one thing I thought, I mean, I don't want to say they underwrote it, but they didn't give him there was so much to do, obviously. But like, yeah, I don't think he had
the meat.
He didn't have the arc, or like, he doesn't really have anything to get over. The story is like that he's framed for this. You know what I mean? He doesn't have a personality trait or anything that he has to. And you know what I really like about it? And they do it with character development, like where they make their bed and then they like figure it out, man. They're like, okay, like I don't think this is a show where it's like Breaking Bad, where they have the whole thing kind of planned out. I think it's like most shows where, okay, we're gonna write season 2, and then if it, then we'll write season 3 after it gets picked up. Last season there's all these things where it's like, okay, Hopper's in Russia, and a shittier show that would have been solved after 2 episodes,
right?
Would have been like, okay, he's back now because whatever. But it's like, no, man, he's in like, how are you gonna fix this? And it takes all fucking season to get there. And same with like,
and it's worth it. It's worth it watching that whole season instead of getting the quick payoff, like you're saying, in 2 episodes. It's, I guess, to somebody it might, or just
it's cool. It serves a purpose because it's like, okay, it's kind of like in a lesser show you could see through it, like where it's like, oh, they need Joyce to do something, like what is she gonna do? But it's like, yeah, like that's what you do with her, like, and now she's out of
what she would do,
right? Yeah. And she's out of the way now. Like, you want the kids doing the Scooby-Doo shit, you know what I mean? You don't,
otherwise she's doing the same thing that she's done in previous episodes,
right? And so like same with Hopper. Like, I like Hopper, but what's he gonna do that isn't, and like I like that I like that everything has it feels like a puzzle, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that they're building as they go, you know what I mean? Rather than like,
and you can see it filling in. You can see the puzzle filling in. Like there's no, they don't leave any pieces falling on the floor under the couch. Like they make sure to put every piece in eventually. It's a very patient story, like, yeah, it's only 7 episodes so far, but it's well over 10 hours of
this was
that you're absorbing, and it's all worth it. Yeah, it's just, I mean, character, I think, is the biggest thing the show has going for it. The Duffer Brothers, I've never looked them up. I looked them up tonight just to see like what they had done. They don't have anything, man. They have they directed like an episode or 2 of Wayward Pines, which was the Shyamalan show. I've never seen it. And then they did a movie that I want to see called Hidden. Other than that, it's it.
Yeah, I remember when season 1 came out, and it was like, who the fuck are these guys?
Yeah,
season 1 came out of nowhere, and it was really great. It was really great. It was, and maybe it was just because it was so. That's the other thing, is it's one of those things now where like it did a thing that everybody ripped off, and now, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, okay, we're doing the 80s, yeah, but these are the guys that kind of did it, and now we're, you know what I mean? Like Wonder Woman 1984 feels hollow. Because it's just
Wonder Woman 1984 is bullshit. There's no
right, but that's what I mean. They're like, hey, people like the 80s now. They're in, so let's just do that. Like,
off.
You know what I mean?
Put 84 in the title.
Put 84, and then we'll have it take place in a mall. Yeah, and we'll do her hair, and it's just like, fuck off. Like, that's not, you know what I mean?
The Duffer Brothers live and breathe the 80s, and as someone who, I also live and breathe the 80s. Man, I couldn't appreciate it more. And it's not just name dropping or something in the background. It's like. And I saw Millie Bobby Brown on Hot Ones, the chicken wing show.
Yeah.
Did you watch that?
I didn't watch her episode, but I saw that she was on it.
It's good, but she talks about how the Duffer Brothers, how meticulous they were, like with the mall. Instead of Gap, it was the Gap. Like they made sure that it said that.
Sure.
Now it's just called Gap. All the clothes were like 80s actually from the 80s. They weren't made to look like the 80s. Just meticulous stuff in every setting.
And what's neat is like the hair or like even the like style. It doesn't look like a fucking Halloween costume. You know what I mean? Like Eddie's haircut it's an 80s haircut for sure, but it looks, it looks real. It looks like functional. Like that's what they were doing. It's not,
but that's that's the thing. Eddie, Billy, Steve, and that's why I'm so drawn to those characters. But and especially when you look at the hair, the 80s was I guess every era has their own like kinds of hair, but the 80s had like, you had these dudes who were the cool dudes and they all had fucking mullets. But then you had the nerds who were like the D&D kids who didn't put as much any time into what they looked like. And so their hair was like, could have been anything. It was usually what their mom did. And these kids look that way. And it just, the way that they build these characters with little bits of nuance like that, I love it so much. And then to fit a character like 11 in there who spent at least one season with a shaved head, and now again, she could be a character in a movie made today, in a set today. The fact that it's in this 80s movie and she's kind of playing a special role in a special segment of this 80s story, it's just so cool that they're able to tie all that stuff in and still make it feel a period piece, accurate.
Yeah. And with the 4, it really could have felt, and there were times, like, don't get me wrong, like, I mean, I had small problems with, not problems, but like a couple times where I was like, oh, that kind of sucked. I will get into that. We'll get into our criticisms later, but overall, I thought the season was really strong. Yeah, man, I'm in. So
I get confused thinking about it because there's a lot going on. But if you break it down in like, there's like 3 storylines basically. You got the Hawkins.
There's four.
There's a fourth that like touches a couple of, you know what I mean? So you got the Hawkins, Indiana group, which is Dustin, Max, Lucas, Steve, Nancy, Robin, Erica, and Eddie. And they're like the Hellfire Club, dealing with the murders and Eddie on the run and present day Vecna. Man, I want to talk about Vecna. And then you got the group in California, Mike, Will, Jonathan, Argyle. I want to talk about him. 11 for a little bit, and then you get Matthew Modine and Paul Reiser. And then you get the Russia story, which is Joyce, Murray, Yuri, and Hopper. And I want to talk about for a second the Enzo. I think his name is Enzo, the Russian.
Yeah.
Are you a Game of Thrones fan?
Yes. So, I the whole time I'm like, how do I know this guy?
I mean,
is he on Game of Thrones?
He's the faceless man. Jack and
Hagar. I thought that he might be, but then I was like, is that who he is, really?
Yeah,
because it was the voice. It was the voice that did it.
A girl does not know.
In fact, I thought for a second, like, is it that guy? And then I was like, no, it's not that.
How cool is he, man? Just a cool actor.
Yeah, he was. That actor kicks ass. I'm surprised he's not doing tequila commercials. That guy is awesome.
Tom Wallachia, I guess is his name.
I think he's going to be in a lot of. I bet he's in Star Wars within 2 years.
I bet he'll be
playing some show.
I bet you're right. He'd fit perfectly in there. So I don't care which one you want to talk about first, which group, and then the fourth, like you were saying, I think.
Well, the 11 breaks off halfway through and become, and with the thing that kind of sucks about that is, that was when it started. At the beginning of the season, that was the one I was the most interested in. With Mike over there.
Yeah.
Well, like Mike in California, and then like she cracks that chick's head up. That was awesome. That was one
awesome.
of my favorite parts of the whole season.
Please do something.
Well, what I love is that, she does that. They spend the night, like they don't, it's not just like she flipped it. Like they really like focus on like, hey, that's fucked up. Like they don't, that's really not a good thing she did. And it's not, I was surprised. I shouldn't have been with this show, but like how much they're like how realistic that is, man. If you bash someone's head in with a fucking roller skate,
you could kill him.
I mean, when they left, it was like, I was like, how she's not going to get arrested, but then she gets arrested like that.
But at the same time, I 100% agree with you. But at the same time, as somebody who was bullied, I was beaten up almost daily when I was a kid through grade school and junior high, especially junior high, which is kind of where these kids are. They're freshmen. They're freshmen in high school. Okay. You want, as someone who's being bullied, you want that, and that chick deserved punishment. Yeah. she didn't deserve to die, which she didn't die, but that could have killed her. But when that happened, I was like, I feel like the Duffer Brothers are like, here's what like, you shouldn't do this. Neither of you should do this. But when you do this, there's consequences, and on both ends. And I love that they take the show, whether it's this or something else, they show it's not like the bully gets away with it, and it's also not the person who's being bullied not doing anything about it. So to see her stand up for herself, I was like, cool. But she paid, or at least it was known, like, that's not cool, man.
And it was just a really well done scene where you really, especially even the makeup on the girl's face, with that show, like, you really got like, oh, that's serious shit. Yeah. Like that's a major injury.
Also the setting of it. Did you do?
I lived at the roller rink.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I lived there.
Was it here? Was it in the suburbs here?
Yeah. God, I don't know what town it was in because I was young.
Remember the name of the place? Because I bet there was a place
if you said it, I would.
There was a place that my cousin and I would go all the time in the Chicago suburbs, and I can't remember what it's called, but it was a roller thing and arcade and all that stuff. And they nailed it, man. It was so good seeing that. Yeah,
it was cool. Yeah, I used to live at the roller rink, man.
So Mike makes it over from California to be with 11 and that crew. But other than that, all those other guys stay over in California. Mike comes to California, from Hawkins. Argyle, what'd you think of? He was a new character, and you mentioned new characters earlier.
I didn't mind him. I don't think he fit, but he didn't feel, to me, like, I could see people getting annoyed with him, but I think that's kind of why he was there. Like, our characters were, you know what I mean? Like, they were annoyed with him already. So he didn't bother. There's another character who wasn't in this group that kind of got annoying to me that we'll get to later. But yeah, he didn't cross that for me. I did like he was I know he was annoying a little bit, but he was also a good example of 80s California. And none of these other kids are from there. They all are from Hawking, Indiana. So I didn't think he was funny necessarily. I did like that Jonathan was a stoner. Like, I really liked that they did that.
Do you like that character?
Jonathan?
Yeah.
I think he's probably the most underdeveloped character on the show. Like, I think they probably just don't know what to do with him at this point. And I agree. They just kind of threw him into this group. Yeah. I mean, well, he has to go with Will because I mean, it's a bummer. And I think the show is kind of leaving him high and dry. Clearly, they're setting up. He's like, his whole thing was getting Nancy for the first season, wasn't it?
Steve and Jonathan were like,
well, she was dating Steve in season 1.
Oh, was she?
Yeah, she was dating Steve, and then she broke up with Steve. Steve was a shithead in season 1,
right?
And I think what happened. I'd be curious, but I bet it was a like a Chris Pratt situation with Parks and Rec. So Chris Pratt was in season 1, and I mean, I want to say he was like living. He was not a big actor. He was living in his car like a year before that.
He was all fat and stuff, right?
Yeah. But they wrote him in to be like the shitty boyfriend that she dumps halfway through, and then like Chris Pratt was so awesome to be around and just cool that they made him a regular on, like, they made him a regular on the show. And that's what I think that might, I mean, who knows if this was always the plan, but Steve felt like a character that he was either going to die or they were just going to move past.
Right.
And I forget the actor's name, but I like that guy. He's great, man. And he's got it all, man.
Even in the first season, I remember him being a douchebag, and they set him up initially. He was like the Billy character, but then he makes that turn towards the end where he is actually concerned about these kids and he acts to protect them. I just remember this. I've only watched all these seasons just once, and the last time I saw the first was in 2016. But I remember him with the bat with the nails in it, waiting. Oh yeah, waiting in the house for the Gorgon to come in, and he was protecting these kids, and it was really cool to see because he starts as a douchebag.
Yeah, that's right. I didn't give it show enough credit. Yeah, that's right. That was a good moment. He and you know what dawned on me too, that this season that never how we were just talking about the boys and how like a little subtlety goes a long way. It makes your show so much better if I can kind of get there on my own. And not everybody is going to do this, but like, so in season 2, I think is when they paired up Dustin and Steve.
Yeah.
And I remember when they first did that, I remember thinking like, that's kind of rant. You know what I mean? Like, okay, I guess, and it wound up working out really well because the two actors have chemistry, and I don't know, it just worked. And then like he's friends with like then he then he's really into Eddie this season. The scene where Eddie and Steve are talking about Dustin, it dawned on me like, oh, like he has these connections with these like older kids, like these older guys. He's the only one of the kids. He doesn't have a dad, and it's like that's something like that. You know what I mean? Like
totally, I didn't realize that.
And that's just because that's what I mean. Dad, if your dad's not around, that tends to be like you try and not father figures, but you try and you gravitate towards that. Sure.
No, that's a great point. Yeah, because he's always like, he's got the not overbearing, but like over caring almost mom. Definitely coddles him, but yeah, I never realized that there's no dad there. And he totally does that.
Yeah, he like seeks out older male influence almost, and he looks up to those guys, like especially Eddie. Like he really,
totally, which is really interesting too, because he's by far the most intellectually intelligent of all the characters. I would say Dustin's always the one who is figuring out what's going on, and then brings everybody else in. And so that elevates him to a different level of maturity. And these older guys that he's always drawn to, even though they're older, tend to like fall below that, which is it's another adds to that dynamic. It's
and he's explaining shit to them, and like that's what I think was really neat too about Eddie, is that he started off at 11, and then once the shit happens and he sees like the people turn inside out and stuff,
right?
And they didn't play it for laughs either, but like he's not the big like extrovert that he puts himself off as,
which makes sense considering the situation that he's in.
Yeah, but they didn't overdo it where he becomes like, you know what I mean? I thought
like pudding.
Yeah, like the scene that introduces him, I remember being like, is he gonna be? I didn't know what they were gonna do with him. You know what I mean? He wasn't immediately.
Was it in the lunchroom, right?
Yeah. I don't want to say he wasn't immediately likable, but he wasn't. I wasn't sure he was a good guy.
He was boisterous, and at first I was like, am I gonna like this guy or not?
I knew I was gonna like him right away, but I get Billy vibes where I'm like, I like this character, but he might be a piece of shit,
Yeah, but Billy right off the bat was a piece of shit, like massive. Like Billy was hardcore shitbag all the way up until the end, basically, and it was just so cool to see him be like, what am I doing? And he did get used, which I wanted to ask. So the first season 1, the villain's the Gorgon, just one. Season 2, it's like multiple, or they're like,
it's like the dogs and
the Gorgons. And do they also introduce the Mind Flayer at that point?
I think so.
Yeah. Season 3 is like the thing, right? That's like gathering bodies. Like, isn't Billy like bringing people? Somehow Billy gets infected, and then he's bringing people, and this thing is just absorbing bodies, and turns into a giant thing that they battle at the mall, right? That's the villain.
Yeah.
And now we've got Vecna. So I just wanted to clear that in my head.
Are all these things, and they kind of touch on this. That's the one thing about the show, is I feel like I don't fully understand like the Upside Down at all. And it's kind of like, are these guys all connected? Like, are they all part of the same crew, or is this just, are they random creatures? Or
they talk about it in this episode or in this season, where the Upside Down is kind of a hive mind, everything that's there, and all connecting to the Mind Flayer, which is the giant. I think the only time we've really seen him is he's like a giant creature, like enormous, that's kind of over there in the Upside Down. And so these are all his minions. But Vecna, they kind of specify Vecna's role as far as where he falls in the hierarchy of the Upside Down creatures and characters. I think I don't know if Vecna's like above the Mind Flayer or how that works.
I think he said they called him like his general, or like he was like a top.
So Vecna, what do you think about that character?
I dug the design. I dug everything about him. Again, and the end of the season, it kind of just confused me more, because it was like, well, I liked him. I liked that they didn't know why he was doing anything, or like what, I don't know. I thought he just kicked ass. I thought he was a good, solid villain.
How about his origin?
It's funny.
Again, this is a big one. So again, we are obviously going full spoilers. Go ahead.
I liked it. I had a feeling they were going to go pretty much from the start. I was like, somebody's going to be number one. Like, who's going to be number, you know what I mean? Like, like, I don't know why I saw that coming. It's probably because they had name all the numbers. They don't say one. So I figured that would be a big one. Yeah.
Somebody 11 or somebody goes like, who's number one or something, and they're like, oh, that's a story for another time or whatever. And I think it might be Modine or somebody says that. And then as it plays out, you start to realize, oh wait, this dude's number one. I've never seen this guy before. Have you ever seen this actor before?
No, and he felt kind of because didn't he? What was he in from like the jump this season? Like was he in the first episode? Like he came out of tacked on like in like the fourth episode. Or something.
He came out of nowhere, and he kind of stuck out like a sore thumb at first, and then she spends more time with him. I really, really liked this dude as a actor and as a character. Once you realized, because at first you get that feeling where it's like, is he a figment of her imagination or what is happening here? But he's a memory. And the whole thing with 11 and her storyline, once she gets to the science lab, is her remembering what actually happened with these kids. Because the whole season opens up with a massacre, and she has spent the only memory she has is that she thinks she did it. Yeah. And so this whole process of sensory deprivation that they're putting her through, Modine and Reiser, is to get to her actually remembering what really happened. And it's the origin of Vecna, which is,
but it's what's neat too is that
amazing.
Like it's, it's her developing her her powers when she was younger, and they're basically like jamming those memories back in her head and making her relive them, therefore like retraining her mind. And you know what I mean?
Right. Like rediscovering, because she's lost her powers. She needs to rediscover her powers.
Right.
So she's had the memory. It's just been buried or whatever, forgotten. So it's like, because this storyline, this story out of the four, once she gets to the science lab, was really, for me, I was like, it was definitely my least favorite, but to a point. Once I realized, because I wasn't so interested in her journey.
Yeah.
Once I realized it was also coupled with the origin of Vecna, while the other kids are dealing with Vecna in the present day, I just thought that was fucking cool, man. And once it's revealed who he is, it's like, Jesus Christ, that's awesome.
Yeah, it was neat. I'm glad you told me that next month or whatever they're doing, because I felt like the finale was like not disappointing, but just kind of like that's it. Like, totally. But if they're coming back, like then
it's a breather. It's a breather.
Yeah, that makes more sense.
Because wasn't it literally ended on, oh shit, that was Vecna's origin. Here's Vecna. It zooms in, and that was it. That was the end, right?
Yeah. And I thought the last shot was like, I thought it was wasted, or not wasted, but like earlier in I don't know. I would like to pick their brains and be like, why did you do it like this? Like when he's talking to her and he says like, I'm like you, and he shows her the tattoo, and it's like, oh, he's one. Oh, that's cool. Later, like when you see him turn into Vecna, they zoom in on the tattoo, and that's how the end of the season.
Okay.
Why not save that? Why, why have him show her earlier? Like look, I'm one. That would have been cool to have all that happen. She does the thing, he becomes like turns into whatever, and then they zoom in, and then you see like that would have been. I don't know. I mean, you're saying
save the reveal, that not the reveal of who number one is, but the reveal that Vecna is also number one. Save that for later.
Well, I don't know. I don't even mind like kind of, but like I'm just saying like the stinger at the very end.
Yeah,
I felt like kind of went like a lead balloon, like because they already showed the tattoo, like. Even if you say like I'm part of the program and I've done this before, and I just feel like it would have had a little more oomph if you hadn't already shown that. But again, this is a tiny nitpick.
I know, but I mean they already showed it, yes. But I think as much as this series or this show lets the audience get to it and doesn't explain everything, I think this is a story point that you absolutely need to be 100% clear on. Is that here's the origin of one is Vecna, and get it out of the way so that this last this opus, whatever that's happening in a month, it's like that's out of the way. So now we know who Vecna is. We know his backstory. Let's just drive forward. And I think it'll pay off. I think you'll feel differently once you watch the next episode,
Yeah. I'm really interested in what they're going to it's a bummer that it ended. I mean,
like where it goes from here.
Yeah, because there's so much more. Like it does. It feels like you're almost there. Like,
well, but we've got almost 5 hours left, which is a lot of story. So before we move on from Vecna, the murders,
Bendy,
stuff. The Bendies, terrifying and awesome. We talk about, though obviously it's a horror podcast, the way that people get killed in the movies we watch can a lot of times get mundane, I guess, because we deal with a lot of slashers. We deal with a lot of like, you either get slashed, it's a creature that bites you. This is just cool, man. It's like somebody describes it like he's on the inside pulling in, almost like an implosion of sorts. Super cool, creative, you know?
Yeah. And cool that like they establish it early and enough times that like, you know, there's a process to it. You know what I mean? Like there's all this stuff that is happening on both sides. And then when it happens to Max, like I tell you what, man, that episode, I don't know about you, that fourth one was the best episode of the season.
Great episode.
It was, at first I was like, they're not going to kill Max, like, you know, whatever. But by the end of the episode, I was like, oh wow, they're going to do this. They're really good. You know what I mean? And like, I really didn't know until, and it was intense, man. And
I thought they were going like Midnight Mass.
I thought, yeah, well, because like once she figures out like, oh, it's going to be me, I was like, well, if she figured it out, then they're going to get out of it.
Right.
But like, there is that hopelessness in that like vibe, that entire episode, because they don't know what to do. That episode, man, when she was running and then they were showing the flashbacks.
Yeah.
And they were just like, I was like, I wouldn't have been surprised if it went one way. I was actually surprised she got out and like relieved too.
But the fact that she did get out wasn't cliche, you know?
No, and like she wasn't.
It worked.
Yeah, and she's never been one of my like favorite characters either. And I was like,
but she got. I agree. To me, they elevated her character.
Yeah,
this. Yeah.
She really that I think for me was the best. Well, yeah, that was the best sequence of the season. I thought when she was running out.
Sure,
it
was great.
Something, man.
Definitely.
And you know what's so cool about the show though, that other shows don't get to do, is that when they do flashbacks, or even like with 11, like they obviously did it with some special effects.
Yeah,
is like when they show shit from the past, it really hits so much harder because they look so young.
Yeah,
you know.
How did you feel about how they, 11 is digital when she's younger?
I was like, how the fuck did they do that? I'm like,
so you bought it. You bought it.
Oh, I bought it 100%. I was like, is that old footage? Is that
yeah?
Like, did they like? It's one thing to de-age Robert Downey Jr., but like,
yeah,
how do you de-age someone? Like, because everything changes. You know what I mean? Like, it's not height, fixing wrinkles.
It's like, yeah, I mean,
your facial structure changes.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I thought it was awesome. It was.
Dude, I'm watching Fear the Walking Dead. The spinoff show has a baby in it now. That the things that they do, you can't put a real baby in this situation, you know, and it's a digital baby a lot of times, and it looks like garbage. It's like almost scary the way it looks. So I'm watching that concurrent with this, and it's like, man, good job. You know,
I'm debating about which baby to bring up in do you know about have you seen the Twilight baby?
The Twilight baby. Oh, I don't remember.
They have a scene. They have a baby in one of the movies.
Yeah.
And they see, but what they did was they tried to. So the baby is older in one of the other, in like the fourth movie.
Okay.
She's like 12 or whatever, and they digitally took the 12-year-old's face and put it on this baby and tried to make it like, it looks terrible. It looks insane.
Ugh. What was the other one you're gonna bring up?
American Sniper.
Oh, I haven't seen it. Is that Michael Keaton?
No, that's American
Oh.
Sniper is Bradley Cooper about the all right, but you don't know about the baby?
I don't care. No,
this is yeah. I'm wondering if you would prefer this. Because babies, the thing is, so like Clint Eastwood directed, and Clint Eastwood is a very like no bullshit director. Like he's notorious for doing one take and being like, let's go. Fuck it, next take. There's this like intense scene where Bradley Cooper is arguing with his wife and the baby's crying and like he's trying to like whatever. Yeah. And it's like this intense scene. He picks up the baby and he's like, oh, whatever. And then if you look at the baby, I mean, it's a doll. It's a Cabbage Patch Kid practically. It's as fake a baby as you could possibly have. And it's just like What is that? The scene seems so insane to watch.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Not to turn this into the baby show, but I don't know. For some reason, I thought you were going to bring up
Boss Baby. It's another good CGI baby.
No, the baby in the Dawn of the Dead remake. Do you remember that?
Yeah, but that was a puppet, I think, right? Or was it CGI?
It was CGI because it's born a zombie. It comes out. Maybe it was a little puppet too, but it comes out and it's, the mom is a zombie. It's a zombie, whatever. And Mekhi Phifer is standing there and has to shoot it, or is supposed to shoot it, and the baby's like, yeah,
yeah,
like it goes after him or whatever. Anyway,
man, one of the most masterful like music drops ever at that point.
Oh, is there? Which one was it?
Well, no, they go into the it's that song, but they go into the it's like a swing version.
Down with the sick,
but it's like at the lowest point. Like it's like, dude, we just killed a newborn zombie baby.
Yeah,
everybody's at their lowest point.
It's Disturbed, remade by what's his name, man? It's not Michael
like Brian Seltzer. Like, is it like
it might be him? It might be.
It's like a full on swing band, and then they're just showing everybody hanging out in the mall.
And it's a montage with like.
It's crazy how hard the shift changes.
The movie is great. Yeah. So villains, Vecna, awesome. The other last villain, or he's not really a villain, but how'd you feel about Freddy Krueger?
Oh, he's awesome. I mean, it was nice. It was just nice to see him. I was like,
right.
Yeah, immediately.
It's great. Why doesn't Robert Englund get more roles?
I know, because it's not even like he's not even typecast, because he doesn't look that much like Freddy Krueger. Like I had to.
Not anymore, anyway.
Granted, he's got a shitload of makeup on in this too, but like,
yeah,
I had to point out to I was watching my wife. I'm like, that's Freddy Krueger. She's like, what do you mean? I'm like, that's the actor that plays him. Freddy Krueger's not going to show up in the show.
So there was a point when after you said that, there was a point in her mind where she thought maybe you meant the actor, or maybe you meant the character of Freddy Krueger is in Stranger Things.
I don't think so. I think she was just like, that's a weird statement, but yeah, it was
oh boy, I love it.
That would be pretty. I like that.
I mean, it would fit this the theme or the story,
Well, at one point, Dustin has to explain to someone who, and that's the show has me doing this all the time. Yeah. Where like I'm doing like year math in my head, where he Dustin has to explain who Freddy Krueger is to somebody, and I'm like, okay, there's 86, so okay, like I'm doing like which Nightmare on Elm Street are out, like how popular it is,
86, so just two, right?
Just one, yeah. Well, what year did the second one came out?
86, 85, or 84, 85.
It's 84, 86.
And it might have been. It was either 86 or 85 or 86, because by 87, Dream Warriors was out.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. So number 2 is either the next year or the next. 85 or 86. All right. So the Russia stuff. Are you a fan of Murray?
No.
In previous.
It sucks because I feel like I'm biased and I don't want to be like, and it's a stupid thing why I don't like this guy. Like I've kind of always liked, like I like Brett Gelman as like a character actor.
Is that his name? The actor?
Yeah.
Okay.
But like he pops up in a lot of things I used to watch, and like he always takes me out of it because he's always. I mean, I like his look. I like a lot of things, but he always just feels out of place. And this is what really, I don't know what it is. I mean, I don't mind Murray.
I've never seen him before. There's one thing.
He seems too silly for the show. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, he's always been that way in this.
Yeah. Show. And it's gone up. You know, like
he sticks out like a sore thumb a little bit.
Right. Like if you put him in any of the scenes with 11, it would be like, I mean, he feels like he's on a different show.
Yeah.
Like he feels out of like he's from Parks and Rec, like an Office type thing. Like he's not. It just doesn't. I don't know. And I kind of liked that he knew karate, but then when he was like, I liked that he talked himself into doing the karate because he had beat the other kid. I thought that was funny. But then later on, he's like doing full on karate,
like full. Well, here's the thing with that, and I totally get it. I don't know him from any. The only thing I know him from is he plays this last batch of Christmas commercials that we've had. He plays Scrooge in a what's the new bike that they're selling? Fitness bike. I don't know.
Peloton.
Yeah. So he's like plays Scrooge in this commercial. Anyway, it's the only thing I know him from. But Murray's always stuck out like a sore thumb, and he was the conspiracy theorist for the first couple seasons and whatever. And now he's like part of the team, one of the Avengers or whatever. But the thing I liked is that in another show, he would have said, yeah, I'm a black belt. Now's the time where I have to use my karate. You know, Joyce is like, you're a black belt, right? Use your karate. And he would have, you know, fumbled and got his ass beat. But like, his karate worked. And I thought that, like, you've never seen that. Like, nobody's ever done that, where it's like the guy who's the joke of the show for the most part actually came through with what he claimed he could do. I thought that was cool. It didn't necessarily fit, but I was like, that's different, you know?
Right.
And that works.
I like that he was doing karate. Like, I liked that he did karate and like the thing talking himself, but like, I didn't like where it goes over the top for me is that he's like yelling his moves out as he does it. Like, he's just so goofy. And that's the thing. The show is like serious sometimes,
especially the Hopper stuff.
Yeah, Hopper stuff is like, yeah, exactly. Like, and it just, and they drop him in scenes that are like, yeah, like he's in a prison camp, and then he's like yelling catchphrases and stuff, and it takes, when you have a character like that, and you know what's her name did that for me. What's the new girl? Steve's her name.
The ice cream girl.
Yes.
She
took me out of it because she was like
bit with her
quips. And I get it was like a personality thing. It almost, I don't know. It was just like,
I feel like she was totally different in season 3. She was always like, I feel like she was always shooting Steve down and like almost like a voice of reason. And then in this, they made her this jokester, quipper. And I was like,
I thought the same thing, but I also like thought about like, well, maybe it's just because she was only bouncing off Steve last season. You know what I mean? Maybe it's that once you're bouncing her off Nancy, it's a totally different dynamic.
Yeah.
Like, maybe, I don't know, but
she made a joke. She made a joke or something at one point where it was like, I think they were in the Upside Down, and it was like it was like a dire situation. And she made a joke, and I was like, wait, that didn't go right.
Yeah.
It didn't feel right. I don't know.
There was a lot of that with her, and it was like, I think, yeah, exactly. Like, dude, they just got pulled in the Upside Down. They're all like, whatever. And she's talking about rabies. It was just like, I don't know. It was a little much, but it was fine. You know,
who is, her name's Erica, I think.
No,
right?
I don't.
Or is it Robin?
It's Robin.
So who's Erica? I have Erica written down. I don't know who that is.
I can't think of any other women on the show.
With the Russia stuff. So we talked about the faceless man, the Russian guy, Enzo, Yuri was another one that I was like, you know, the other Russian guy.
Yeah.
That it fit, like the thing that Joyce and Murray and Yuri had going on before they left for Russia. It worked because it was like its own pocket story.
Yeah, exactly.
But once they got to Russia, where Hopper is facing a gorgon and like, it's like to continue with that silliness.
And the vibe was going wrong with Hopper all season.
Yeah.
I mean, he's in a prison camp. He had someone break his foot so that he could fucking X-Files himself out of there.
Yeah.
Like, do you remember that episode of the X-Files?
Yeah.
Yeah. That it's still like, that's one of the first things I think about when I think about the X-Files, when that guy broke his thumb off.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah. Which, by the way, I was like, I didn't realize that's what he was doing.
Yeah.
Like, when he was like, I thought he was saying like break the I don't know. I still am like, I don't know. It works.
That whole thing. Yeah. I get why he was doing that, but also like,
now you have to walk on it.
Now you have to walk with a broken leg that's probably infected and weird. And it's like,
I can't see being able to walk on it after, but whatever, you know.
Nitpick. I love the scene, man, when Hopper gets free and he goes into the church where all the peanut butter is. And I hate in movies where the person hasn't eaten in forever and all of a sudden they've got food in front of him and it's just like, that's Hopper in this, except he grabs the peanut butter and tastes it and it's just like everything stops. And it's like, I'm not going to be, that was such a cool scene. And then he crawls into bed and puts a blanket on and he's just like, I felt for that guy. I was like,
it's the first time he's been able to somewhat relax.
Right.
Yeah.
I was like, that is such a great, like I was there. It was
his
awesome.
escape scene was awesome too.
Yeah, it was.
Like, and what's wild, there's certain things about this show that like, you know, like a lot of these characters have plot armor. Like I'm watching this thing, like, and when I binge it, I notice it more. But like, you know, when he escapes, like we don't know if he's going to escape, but like we know he's not going to get shot. Like, you know what I mean? Like we know he's not going to like. But
I don't know, man. I felt like Hopper was going to buy it at some point.
I didn't feel like that at all. Really? At any point, and that's it. Kind of, for me, the Hopper stuff.
He just had so much going against him.
Yeah, but like, why have him at all? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
there was a lot of stuff where I was like, in fact, yeah, that we're not that it dragged, but it was just because you had the 4 storylines going. When I was a kid, I used to watch all my children with my mom, and then later on we watched like ER, and she would do this too. Certain storylines.
Ours was General Hospital, by the way.
I mean, it's so funny how like other people watch
Luke and Laura, son. Luke and Laura.
I think that one's still on, right?
I think so. Yeah.
That's the only one. Yeah. My mother-in-law watched that for years, but she also did all my children. I'm pretty knowledgeable all my children. Anyway, when I would watch it with my mom though, because she would tape it and then watch it later, she would fast forward through scenes, like through full on, like, because they'd be like, oh, we're gonna, we're dealing with Erica right now, and now we're going to go over, Erica and Dimitri are having this thing, and then we're going to go over to Janet, and then we're going to go over to Tad and Dixie, whatever. She'd get over to Janet and be like, fast forward. And I'd be like, what are you doing? Like, she's like, who gives a shit about Janet? I don't care. I don't care. And I was like, that's nuts. But like, as an adult with kids now, I'm like, I get it. I totally get it. And she would do it with like ER too, like, with like, and stuff like that. And I was just like, that's nuts. But like this, and it's not because the show's bad. It's a lot. It's a long show. And I'm just like, okay, oh, we're still there. We're still in jail. Okay. Like, I didn't do that, but I got it.
I could have done that. I actually had that thought. I would never do it because I want to watch what I'm watching. But during some of the 11 stuff in the in the water, but with the jail stuff with Russia, I was in because like they teased the Gorgon at the end of season 3 being in Russia in the whatever. And I'm like, I want to know I want to see this. Like, how did these guys get it? What's going on? All this stuff. And then when they finally let it out, dude, like the Gorgon out, that was just, I thought that was sometimes the monster action in this series, in this show, just kind of like, it's like, oh, okay, we're going to fight another monster.
And we're going to throw into, a lot of people get thrown into walls.
Yeah.
Like, and it loses its steam.
But this, I thought was like, because this Gorgon comes out and it's just like, oh, this is because peppered throughout the Russia stuff, you see like a hand in the arena or like some weapon or something. And you're like, from what we've seen of the Gorgon, it's usually been 11 fighting it. It's been like this sort of like a showdown kind of deal. But with this, it's like he comes out and he's just like jumps over 3 guys, grabs a dude, whatever. It's just, I loved seeing I felt like they put a unique flavor to predatory animal stuff. The way it was taking these guys out was so cool, and then you get Hopper with his fire, gives it pause for a minute. But yeah, plus it took me back to the first season, seeing the Gorgon, and it's crazy when you look back at the villains that the Gorgon posed such a threat in season 1 to where we are now.
Well, I was just thinking that, like, exactly.
Talk about that's evolution. That's amazing.
But like, this is the first season where it's less, it's almost, it's not an animal, like not animal instinct, but like, the Demogorgon is like it's a, you know what I mean? It's basically a bear, it's just, it's whatever. And then the other things are, they're animal instinct's the wrong word, but they're like looking to survive. They're whatever. Whereas Vecna this season is like full, like has like a motive and thoughts and like is like talking shit to people. And it's funny that it works, because it's not the same as before. But
I love the, like we were saying earlier, like the fact that like just the hierarchy of the villains. And at some point we're going to encounter the Mind Flayer, which is the big boss. I love that like the Mind Flayer has Vecna, this general, but he's also going to send his like wolves at you, and it's such a cool thing. So after the Gorgon and there's in the corridor, when Joyce shows up, Hopper and Joyce are reunited. I mentioned that Hopper was going to buy. I thought Hopper was going to buy it. I thought it was going to be right there. I thought that right when they're faced each other, some Russian was going to have a gun and shoot him, or I don't know, something bad was going to happen. But again, the Duffer Brothers, like kind of like with the karate, it's like they follow through with. They're not going for like shock value in this, hardly at all. I mean, there's horrific, shocking stuff, but it's not shock value like, oh, we tricked you, thought that person was going to live, they died. They let the audience like have their moment, like the audience have their reward. And Joyce and Hopper coming back together, man. Hopper's face, she like hugs him and he's like, he doesn't know what the fuck is happening. He's like, how the hell of all people, how is Joyce here in Russia saving me? And then he just like sinks into it, and his face is just so good. So good.
Yeah,
Great scene.
it was good. I wonder, because that's the other thing is like what do they do when they come back? Because you've got like the current state now is Nancy's stuck in the upside down.
Okay, yeah. So what she fell back.
She fell back in.
Great scene.
Yeah, but that was I mean, not to say like you didn't get the sense like that it was over. Like, I mean, on multiple ones, like it would. Okay, so on her, it's, and again, it makes sense because it's coming back now in a month. I thought it was, so she's there. We don't know what's going on with the other three or the other people like that climbed up the rope successfully. But I guess they're all back together now.
Right.
Cops are still after Eddie.
The California kids they're looking for 11.
Well, they found that pen. They found the number. Oh, okay. That's my one thing that I wanted to bring up. And again, not a criticism. However, I will say that. Okay. So I appreciate the period piece. I like that they commit to the time, right? However, they are like a bunch of like 14-year-olds with the powerful walkie-talkies in the world. Like, and like they use the internet, which I was just like, really? Like that's why the show takes place in the 80s. Don't put the in there like this 12. I mean, I know she's a super genius and all that stuff. Really? And I know we get to make our internet joke about it and everything, but like, I don't know. It just felt like
I know what you're saying.
That's how you're going to solve it. You're going to go online and look it up. Like that's
that you
could do that on any show.
I thought about that for a minute. I was like, wait a minute, Al Gore wasn't doing stuff right now. But for me, it works, or it's fine because nobody else has the internet. They were like, what is this? And it makes sense for her character, which maybe that's why they introduced her last season so that they could use the internet in this season, but whatever. I mean, I get it.
I mean, again, it's a nitpick, but I was like, it's the 80s. It would be like, you know,
what was the other thing? Walkie-talkies?
Well, it's not their walkie-talkies. They've had walkie-talkies all the time. These walkie-talkies are like fucking satellite phones. Like they're literally going like they make a point to like say that like is your super walkie-talkie going to work across town? It's like, granted, they're huge, like they're you know, and I'm sure that existed in the time.
It did. I had friends that had these things.
Well, then maybe I'm wrong that like these would have also that. And the one little thing was that Eddie was able to like just find one on a construction site.
Oh yeah,
like, I was
that's
like,
right. He did snatch.
But then I'm thinking, I'm like, how else? I feel like that was like, we need them to know where he is, but we still need him to run away. Fuck.
Right.
Right. Okay. Maybe he steals a walkie-talkie. Yeah. Like, and this show, like I said, the show's so good that you don't notice that when it's, so it's fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, the super walkie-talkies, I was like,
there are a couple conveniences that the show takes, but walkie-talkies I was dumbfounded with those when I was a kid. I was like, what? Like, what is this?
Yeah. I always wanted I bought walkie-talkies for my next door neighbor because I wanted to be like explorers.
Yeah.
Where it's like, I keep it next to my bed. You fucking call me and I will tell you whatever.
Totally.
But in my experience, it was more like one of my favorite Simpsons jokes. Bart buys Milhouse a pair of walkie-talkies. And he's like, okay, now when you want to use them, just call me on the phone, tell me to turn mine on, and then we'll use our walkie-talkies.
When it's on, like, or when,
the
one time that it makes sense in The Walking Dead in season 1, Rick gives Morgan a walkie-talkie and says, is a walkie-talkie or is it one of those with the dangly thing? It goes, oh.
Well, that's an attachment that I have but don't use. Like it,
or is it on your shoulder and you go up?
Well, that's the attachment. Like you could use that. I don't. I do it Ghostbusters style. I used it for a Ghostbusters costume,
which is how
time. It's just it's the brick on your that you just attach to your pants.
That's how I would do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
No, because when you have to go on the tracks, that's how you have to let basically the trains know that you're going to be on the tracks. It's a whole process.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Just say, hey, there's somebody. There's going to be people on the tracks from here to here.
Okay.
But yeah, and those are on all the time.
Okay.
That's a giant network. You know what I mean? Like and
it's an enclosed network.
Sort of. There's different lines for different, like there's a green line channel, there's a red line channel.
Yeah.
You know, but seemingly you could get on it if you had a different. I don't know how. I'm realizing I don't know how walkie-talkies actually work. Now that I'm like talking about it, because before I was like, well, no, like if I turn it on, if I go get it right now, I could turn it on and it could be like
in from work talking.
Yeah, people would be on it.
But then how do you turn them off? I don't know, whatever.
Well, yeah, you can be like, hey, Dan. Well, I guess unless you knew. Yeah, it doesn't work like in Explorers, right? Where it's just
you and that one person.
Yeah, Ethan Hawke has it under his bed. And
no, I think Explorers is as far from walkie-talkie truth as possible.
Well, maybe they turn them on. I don't know. It's
fun. We should get walkie-talkies and see if we could use them where we are now, from me to you.
Or I'm actually in the market for. I use them I go on vacation every year, and we use walkie-talkie because the beach is at the bottom of a giant hill. If we need to contact someone in the house at the top of the hill, we use walkie-talkies.
You can't just use your cell phone.
And you're on the beach, and like you don't know like who's gonna be. It's just, and it's all. A lot of times it's like it doesn't need to be a specific person. It's just like, hey, who's ever in the fucking house, bring down sandwiches.
I guess we haven't really talked much about the California kids.
The show didn't really talk about them. They kind of forgot about them.
Yeah. So I feel like maybe in the last couple, there'll be more of a focus, or I'm really hoping they bring everybody together at some point, which I think they will.
Yeah, I think they have.
Once Joyce and Hopper get back to Hawkins, Hopper needs to go back to Hawkins. Yeah, I guess
he's not a cop anymore, right?
That's true, because they got the new sheriff. Actually, Hopper and Joyce will probably go back to California because that's where she left the kids. But once they get back, it's going to be like, here's what's going on. We need to, and hopefully they'll all get together, because you'll be cutting out the Russia story anyway too. So
yeah, but what about Mike? Like Mike still lives in Indiana.
Mike is.
I love that Mike's parents are so like put on the back burner. Like since season 1, like they were like a joke in season 1, like just how 80s they were, and now like inept his dad was, and then it's just like, oh yeah, Mike has parents. Like,
well, his mom was a big part of the story last season with Billy. Remember?
Oh yeah, that's right.
She was like, there was like a weird thing with her and Billy, all the moms, because Billy was the lifeguard at the pool.
Yeah,
and all the moms were like, oh, and he was paying attention to her because she was the hottest of the bunch. I hope that, like, I want to see Jonathan get more or something. I don't know.
I mean, they kind of just ran out of gas with him. Like he doesn't, especially now since they're clearly gonna get Nancy and Steve together unless something happens. But I remember thinking that too when Steve first went under. I was like, dude, if they kill Steve, like they've been building all this shit. Like when they killed Randy in Scream 2, it was just like, what are you doing? Like everybody likes this guy. Don't do that.
I didn't like him.
Steve or Randy?
Randy. I'm glad they killed him. In broad daylight. Anyway,
brought him back again in every movie anyway. Just in case the killer comes back for a 4th time, I made this video.
Yeah. Jesus Christ. That guy. What's that dude's name?
Jamie Kennedy.
Yuck. I don't think that Steve and Nancy are going to get back together. I think that once Jonathan is back into the picture with her, once they're in the same town, I think Steve is going to step up even more and be like, yeah, you guys, it's you guys. Like what we had is done and over, but blah, blah, blah.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. It's just too obvious with Robin, right? Robin?
Yeah. What about her?
How she's like, she spent all this time picking up on signals between the two of them and telling Nancy, like, hey, don't get mad at me, but I can clearly see that he cares about you. It was just too much. So I think that Steve is going to be like, once everybody's in the same room, Steve's going to bow out. I think
I will. I'd like to make a bet. Yeah. I'd like to make a wager.
I'll bet you a Twinkie, a big one, a real big Twinkie.
Okay. That's fine. Right. Yeah. Right. Do they have like supersized Twinkies?
No, but they come in 2 packs, so 2 Twinkies.
All right,
2 Twinkies.
Yeah, I think they're totally because once they start doing that, I was like, oh yeah, like everybody likes Steve, but more than Jonathan.
But that means that Jonathan's going to get shit on. You really think that they'll do that?
No, because here's what's going to happen. Because he wants to break up with her.
No, only because he doesn't. Only because he thinks that would be the best thing for her.
Yeah,
but I think they'll realize once they're in the same room that they are the best thing for each other.
Yeah, but like, I don't think so. I think they're going to be like,
all right.
That's kind of actually what I like about this show, in that like like Will being like, what the fuck, man? We used to be friends and do this shit. And he's and Mike being, and this has been going on for a few seasons. Mike being like, dude, yeah, what do you want? We grew apart. Like, I have a girlfriend. I do this and that. Like, because that's what really happens. Like, I like that the show makes time for that kind of stuff. And that's kind of like where Jonathan's at. He's like, I mean, I live in California. She lives in Indiana. This isn't gonna work.
Yeah, I mean, valid points. I just don't think. I think that California is a temporary thing. Yeah, I mean, I think that leading into season 5, you're gonna see like a lot of like. I think the landscape of characters is gonna change drastically. I think by the end of before the season's over, I think we're going to lose some characters. It's either Jonathan and Steve I don't think they're both going to make it out. I think that's not crazy. I think one of the kids, you got to lose one of the kids to add a little bit of gravity to it, because they are just constantly in danger and there's no way that they can keep.
Well, that's why I bought Max's. That's why I bought the Max. That's why I was like, all right, yeah. I mean, because that was the thing, not criticism, but like once they killed the kid with the glasses, I was like, I mean, it doesn't hit you as hard when it's totally when they introduce a character for an episode and then kill him. Like,
right, you can't do that. That's one of the whatever bringing this up again, but that's one of the biggest weaknesses of Walking Dead is that they'll introduce a character at the beginning of an episode, not even a season of an episode, and you're like, oh, they're going to be dead by the end. Yep, there they go. And it's like, that's just lazy, man. The characters that have died so far in this season have actually been like cool characters and substance,
and in previous seasons, had, I wasn't expecting
Barb, the first one, like
it was fine, but it was, I thought when it was like, wow, they're going to kill Max like that. And in my head too, like if I'm writing the show, that's the fat. If you're going to kill one of the main, she's not even season 1, but like one of the main kids. Yeah. That's what you do, because anything else, I think I think all the original 4 are making it out for sure.
So
yeah, Dustin, Mike, Will, and Lucas. I think definitely Max now, because they're not going to do that twice.
You're not going to do it twice. I don't think of those 4, you're going to lose one. I think you're going to lose one.
No way.
I think so, man. And I don't know who it's going to be, honestly. I did not like Lucas at the beginning of this season, but I really liked him by the end. I liked it. Yeah. I loved it. The scenes that he and Max got towards the end were great, when he's talking about Kate Bush and like, she's like, he says something and he's like, and Max is like, I didn't know you were a Kate Bush fan. He's like, hell yeah, I am. She saved your life.
Yeah, he's like, I am now.
I am now. That was such a cool scene, man. Because he was, up until that point, I was like, oh man, I hope he's not going to permanently join the douchebags, the team. And all
I wouldn't have minded if he did, only because I bought everything. It happens. You know what I mean? Like it happens. And like when he showed up and he was like, I don't know these nerds. Like it was like that happened, and like it sucks that like it does, and maybe you don't want to do that, but like that's what I liked, is that it jams in like that kind of real shit too. Sure. I wouldn't be surprised if at the end they're not all friends. Like they all kind of go their separate ways. But I think those 4 kids will definitely still be around.
I think we're definitely losing somebody. What do you think? Like, what's Hopper's role from here on out?
That's the thing, man. Like, it was nice. I thought that with Hopper and Joyce, they kind of canceled each other out. You know what I mean? Like it was like, okay, Hopper is in Russia and she's gonna go get him in Russia. Therefore, they don't need to be involved with any of this shit. What does he do now? Does he come back and they fill him in? Like,
if it happens this way, fine, because it'll be good. But what I would rather not see is 11 come back and save the day again, because she's everything.
I think that's how it with the series, maybe not the season, but I think that's how the series is probably going to end.
I feel like she might be one of the ones that dies in this season.
I kind of hope so, because what else are you doing with her? Like at this point, I would actually really be into that at the end of this season.
Yeah.
Because
or at least, because I thought it was pretty cool finally getting to see her role in the Upside Down, when number 1, the showdown, the fight with her, number 1, and she like slams him up against the wall so hard and Professor X's him. And that is the catalyst that opens up the portal, the first portal. So she is she keeps whining about, I'm responsible for this. I'm responsible for this. And I was like, shut up. No, enough of that. But she actually is. And we saw that, like, inadvertently responsible for the upside down, the doorway, the first doorway, and the creation of Vecna in a way, taken off the board, like whether she's sucked into the upside down and has to stay there. We watched an episode of Inhumans before or Inhumanoids for Patreon, didn't we? The cartoon.
Yeah.
So there's two characters in there that I absolutely love. I forget their names, but they split into fire and rock. They come together as one character, and their role in that cartoon is to eternally be imprisoning the main villain. So if one of them, stops shooting laser beams, then that breaks the seal and the villain can go free and wreak havoc on Earth. But so they have to eternally be, imprisoning this character with their powers. I would love to see something like that with 11, where it's like the only way that this stuff stops happening is if she like has to stay in the upside down and like be some reason like imprisoning or affecting, whether it's Vecna or the mind flayer or something like that. Or I hope that, because anything's on the table as far as the supernatural goes, I hope that like Billy comes back as this like super Billy, helps defeat, and he's got like a cape, big B on his chest.
Okay, I keep forgetting they have a whole nother season, because that's the thing. Like, I mean, like characters like Eddie and Robin, and are they coming back?
I think we could see. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's getting to the point when you look at this group, it's huge.
Yeah, it's huge, and they're spread throughout the country. Like, it wouldn't even make any. Even if, how do you even do it? Like, Robin lives in Hagen. I guess you're right. I mean, they lose.
They're all going to be together.
They lose the surfer.
They're all going to be. Argyle actually. I could see Argyle staying in California once, because like, good luck, guys. Like, I live in California, no reason to go to Hawking.
I wonder if there's going to be, because they seem to really dwell on what's her name, sister, the Ali Sheedy looking chick.
Which one?
The Dustin's girlfriend.
Oh, the goth girl.
Her sister. Yeah, the goth girl.
Yeah.
They seem to really focus in on that. Like,
I think that was just the last time we see her, she's getting high in the back of the van, right?
Yeah, to me, it was just like, well, why have that character at all? I don't know.
Her and Argyle.
Yeah.
I think they'll just kind of do their thing. I think with these next two episodes, we're not going to see them. We need to get the group back together.
Yeah. And
the group is so
that's
big
yeah.
now that like, that's why like you can't, some of these people are going to,
and they literally don't live anywhere near, unless they wouldn't all stay in California. They'll probably all go.
That's why California is temporary. Like, it's,
but like, what about like, I mean, that the Eddie's thing still isn't resolved, and how is it going to get resolved? Like, he's still like framed for murder.
I wanted to. I think that's the one character we haven't talked about, the jock.
Oh yeah, we didn't talk. Yeah.
Jason.
Yeah.
I think his name is Jason. Because like the setting of this episode of Stranger Things takes place in the 80s. There was a thing called the Satanic Panic, and it sprung from exactly like this, the scenario of Jason when his girlfriend dies and all these people are dying, what he does in riling up sort of like the Frankenstein mob to go after Eddie. That kind of shit really happened in the 80s. And it was all these mom groups. It was all these like crazy stuff. And it sprung from the D&D Dungeons and Dragons game because it's so immersive and interactive. Mm-hmm. And then it reached out and it hit like He-Man, with Skeletor and those toys and all the toy lines that were like very supernatural, kind of on the surface, horror based. And the Satanic Panic of the 80s threw this big net over pop culture, that anything that resembled bad influence on kids. And they even made like Tom Hanks's first movie. It was called Mazes and Monsters. There was a kid who committed suicide because he was so, in real life, he was so engulfed in the D&D world that he thought he was being chased by a monster and all this stuff, and ended up with his suicide. In this movie, Mazes and Monsters, Tom Hanks first kind of like is about that. So they were very conscious of what was going on and how, on both sides, and how crazy it was that these, like, on one side you had like these crazy moms and parents and all this shit going on, and then on the other side it was just kids having fun doing their thing, like the Stranger Things kids. But this kid Jason, the character, like what he did and what inciting the town, all this stuff that was going on, like I thought they did an awesome job of of showing that and the effect of just irrational. Well,
yeah, I mean,
irrational, but also
pies tonight moment, like where he goes into town hall and rallies everybody up. And
totally. Granted, like people are dying in fucked up ways. That didn't happen in the real world here.
Yeah.
But at the same time, when you look at Eddie's situation, man, it's like, man, he just keeps getting more fucked.
Yeah. And how do you fix this? Like, without, I think that's kind of why, I mean, the cops weren't chasing Billy around, but Billy did he kill anybody in the first?
Yeah, I think he did. Like he did.
I mean, he was brainwashed, but still, it was just like, well, how are we going to do this? You know what I mean? How is he not going to go to jail?
Right.
But Eddie's not goofy, but I don't see them killing.
I could see Eddie dying. I could see Jason, this kid, killing him. That's going to come into play. You don't think?
I feel like that's too maybe, but that's too heavy for this show.
I don't know, man. I could see
you rarely have people kill anybody. It's usually like demons killing people. You don't have like regular. Well, but people.
I think that's where this is gonna. They've developed this character, this jock, right from the get-go.
Almost more than Eddie, to be honest.
Yeah, right from the get-go when he comes out. They're doing their like spirit parade or whatever in the gymnasium, and he comes out and gives that talk to the kids. And he's all like Patrick Bateman style. And
he does have like psychopath.
Yeah, he does.
Vibes.
Right. So it's going to come down to some craziness with him, I think. And unfortunately, I think Eddie's going to take the wrath of his irrational. I don't know.
Well, you know what though? Wait. But I don't think he's on Eddie anymore. Oh yeah, he does. Yeah. He is. He thinks
he's got his posse.
Now he thinks, Eddie's a demon.
Right. And the whole group, like the whole Hellfire Club.
Yeah, that's right. When you saw that the episode was called the Hellfire Club, do you think it was going to be an X-Men thing? Like it was going to be. I was like, they're not going to. I'm like, that's clearly an X-Men reference.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense that they would have a whatever. I guess like it's a neat name. I mean, but
I wonder if
it's already a thing.
The Hellfire Club. Man, I want to say X-Men 129. I think is where they introduced Emma Frost.
Emma Frost's first appearance. That's might be late 70s. That's early 80s. That was around for sure.
So I want to say maybe D&D dates back prior to that. I wonder if the Hellfire Club was based off of spun out of the D&D idea.
Maybe, yeah. It seemed, I don't know. What's his name is Beast Wreck on Instagram, and but he did a redesign of the Hellfire Club logo. And it's
of this or of
the t-shirt of like the devil head and then the like a mace and whatever the fuck else, and it's awesome. It's awesome.
Yeah, that's cool, man. I one thing that I've always been a huge Dungeons and Dragons fan, but the cartoon, I never played the game. I just never got into it.
That's how it was with Magic. Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
The cartoon, the toys, adore those toys. They're fucking awesome. But I guess the older I get, the more my 80s, because I'm the most nostalgic person you'll ever meet, but the more fine-tuned, I guess, my taste gets. Mm-hmm. Dungeons and Dragons, just it's a fucking amazing thing. And when I watch this show and I see these kids at this age playing it and stuff, I wish I had. My older cousins were really into it because for some reason it has nothing to do with Stranger Things. I've run into like 4 people the last month who told me like, oh, I just like, we'll be chatting and they'll be like, I just started my first D&D campaign. And I'm like, I always ask, like, are you a Stranger Things fan? Because it's coming out right now. And they're like, no, not really. I'm like, so why are you all of a sudden playing D&D? And they're like, I don't know. It's just really cool that it's like, it's still out there. And even amongst people like our peers.
Well, it's easier to find, like, I didn't play it when I was a kid because there wasn't anybody around to play with, like, like that was it. And I mean, I had the art book. I had
those books are fucking
the
cool,
books are awesome. I mean, just to being like, oh, this is this, just as like reference guides and shit. Like it was neat. And I kind of wish I had. It was funny though, watching it with Lance, who's like not of like this world whatsoever. So like that scene where they're playing and it's like getting all extreme and like whatever. They don't really hold your hand at all. Yeah. Like with the rules. So like she's like, hey, can you pause it? I'm like, what is this? What is that? How do you even play? Like, what are they saying? How does that work? Like, what are they doing? And I kind of had to lay out like a basic, because but I understand, I think the basic rules and not even the rules, but just like what
what is happening.
Yeah, exactly. Like that. Okay, well, this is this, and he rolls to see if he's successful or not, and whatever he decides, whatever. And she was just like, it was like the way it was as if the TV all of a sudden was in Japanese, and she was like, "What?
Yeah.
Is this like?"
To be honest, man,
how
like,
does this game even work?
As familiar as I am with the subject matter, I guess, when I hear people talk about actually playing it, or I see this scene, I have a little bit of the same reaction. I'm like, where do you start? Like, where do you start with it? I don't know.
From what I understand, my brother-in-law plays. I don't know if he specifically plays D&D, but he plays a lot of different games. He goes to like conventions where he can just like sit down and play whatever, like Warhammer or whatever it is. What he said about D&D is it all depends on your dungeon master. He's like, if you have a shit dungeon master, you're gonna have a shit game. Like, yeah. But like you have guys like Eddie who like write, I don't know if he writes his own thing or whatever, but like you can full on write your own thing, or you can, go off the book and say, okay, well, this is whatever. But
yeah,
it's and I think it's that guy's job to get people excited about the game and be like,
yeah, that makes sense. That makes total sense. And
that was the other cool thing. She's like, so wait, what is he doing? I was like, he's not playing the game. He like essentially is the game.
He's like the master of ceremonies, almost like
it's how do you put it? Like, yeah, he's
host.
Yeah.
And that's the only role, I guess, that they play, that person.
Yeah, that's it. They don't play the actual game. They're essentially not the ref, but
now in the group, would Dustin ever be the dungeon master of that group?
No.
It would always be Eddie.
Per campaign, you have the one guy is in charge.
Oh, yeah. Per campaign. Okay.
Yeah.
But that group, the Hellfire Club, can start another campaign, and somebody else would
and someone else can be the dungeon master. Sure.
All right, man. People are listening to this.
But it seems like it seems like, I mean, I'm sure people actually play it and like whatever. And I was dungeon master that week. Or
okay.
Whatever. Yeah. But it seems like a guy like, oh no, like that. It seems like a thing people do. Like
that actually clarifies a lot of it. If that's all true, what you just said.
Yeah. If you watch that scene, knowing that, I forget where I picked.
What
it was?
Just the idea of the game.
Have you ever seen, have you ever heard of Harmon Quest?
What is it? Herman Quest?
Harmon Quest. Dan Harmon, guy, he created Community, co-created Rick and Morty. He had a show. It was a podcast where he basically played Dungeons and Dragons with like 3 of his friends. And like, it was funny. They sent out like, we needed a dungeon master. This guy contacted whatever. The guy they went with is fucking incredible. The guy is amazing and puts these awesome. He's the show. They did that for a long time, and then they turned it into this show that was on CISO. So I don't know where the hell it is now. But what they would do, it wasn't just the podcast, but they started a new show called Harmon Quest, where it was like, okay, we're gonna play D&D. Then they animate over like what's going on. They animate. They have like what they like whatever. This guy's like, I'm a level 6 ogre. And so like that, and Pat Oswald's on this week. So he's in, and it's a really neat show. And it basically made me, that's how I understand D&D now.
It's so funny because growing up with the cartoon being my foundation of it, all the characters that are in, all the concepts that are in the game are in the cartoon. And the guy who's the dungeon master, like he's a literal like dungeon master. He's this little wizard, like a Yoda figure. He's a dickhead. Like he's constantly giving these kids riddles, and he's like one of the good guys. But they're always being like, yo, dude, help us. Like, don't give us another riddle. Like, and then he'll disappear behind a rock and you won't see him again for the rest of the episode. So like, that's my frame of reference for what a dungeon master was since I was a kid. So now seeing like talking about this right now, and especially with reference to Eddie and how enthusiastic he was, and how he probably is every time his involvement with Dungeons and Dragons is probably purely dungeon master.
Probably among that group. Yeah. Another neat thing that like, I don't know if I conveyed her that's neat about that is like the dungeon master doesn't actually have any effect on the game itself.
Right.
Like, I mean, he does, but like, for example, like it'll be like, okay, you're walking, he supplies what's going on. Like you're walking in this path, you come across a dragon. What do you want to do? And then you'd have to decide, and then you roll the dice, and depending on if you die, essentially. And like you could say, I want to fart in its face. Okay. And you roll the dice, and if you get whatever you land on, you're either successful at it or you're not. And then based on that, you lose points. And like, it's a storytelling game. And the dungeon master has to,
he's the host narrator.
Exactly. He control. Yeah. I mean, that's it. It's a pretty cool thing.
We should start you, me. Who else can we get? Like Joe, maybe. I know Eric would totally be in.
Eric could be in.
Wolfgang, he would be down. Yeah.
Oh, I was thinking Eric. I was thinking Eric Green.
Nah, dude, Wolfgang would be down.
Love to see Eric's character.
That's awesome.
I'd be up for it. I've never played it, man. I'd like to. I think there's a play. I mean, I'm sure there's plenty of places in the city.
There are a lot of people do it virtually. A lot of people do it virtually now. Like they'll do a Zoom thing, which isn't the same. I'd rather be like, in the school cafeteria, whatever.
Yeah.
Library.
Yeah, we could break into a school and play Dungeons and Dragons.
What else you got, man? Did we miss anything? I'm sure we did.
No, I don't think so. I mean, it was good. You would think at 4 seasons of this like Scooby-Doo shit would have gotten all like, but it doesn't, right? It doesn't, but it feels like it should be wearing thin. I know. Like even the characters are like, we're doing this again. Like, I mean, like the first thing we said was like, the characters, how they handle the old ones, the new ones they introduce, the way they level up the threat every time. It's just well written and well put together and well thought out. Like when I was watching this, I couldn't help but think of the Kenobi and whatever else we've been talking about here and there that's powered by Disney. And like, it's content for content's sake.
A lot of it is.
The Obi-Wan show feels to me where it's like, we got to make something.
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
We own this IP.
And that's Disney. That's coming from the biggest, right? Netflix is huge, not as big as Disney. But I think, and again, it sound like a shill, but people don't give Netflix the credit for doing they have a lot of misses, but this and a bunch of other stuff, like I think it all comes down to creator freedom.
Yeah, it seems like that's from what I understand, a lot of comedians talk about Netflix and like, while now it's harder to get a deal than it used to be, but like seemingly they don't fuck with the creator. Like you make what you're gonna make, and we'll either, you could try and sell it. And that's why a lot of times they buy shows outright. Bill Burr used to say when he was making, he'd be like, can we do this? And they'd be like, yeah, do whatever you want. Yeah, man. Sure. We got you. That's what, if you want to do it, that's what we'll put on the air.
Sure. Stranger Things in the books. Yeah. I'm glad we talked about it, and we'll definitely cover the end of it when it comes out next month or whenever that is, July something. We'll do another show. But before that, Kevin, you have the letter X.
No, you have W.
Oh, I have W? No.
Yeah, remember?
Oh, yeah. Well, we already talked about that. That's why.
Yeah,
that's confused.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I announced it last week. My fault. We were talking about X. You've got X next. W for next week. I was thrown off because we did Stranger Things this week. So if you listened last week, I already said what we were going to do. Next week for the letter W, The Watchers, 1988. Corey Haim. What's the guy's name? The other dude?
I've never heard of this movie. Again,
the guy
this is another mystery movie.
What's the guy from? I said his name, and you're like, oh yeah, because he's awesome. What's the head exploding movie?
Scanners.
What's his name? The dude who's in there. He's in Starship Troopers. Rico.
Yeah. Michael Ironside.
So Corey Haim, Michael Ironside, 1988. It's like escaped science projects, creatures. I'm looking forward to it. I haven't watched it. I've never seen it. You've never seen it.
Oh, you've never seen it?
Never seen it.
Oh, wow.
It's one of those VHS covers that I loved as a kid and never got to see. So 1988, Corey Haim. Come on. This is right after Lost Boys.
That's
right?
A selling point for you. It's not.
So
I like Corey Haim, but it's not.
It's sandwiched between Lost Boys and License to Drive with Corey Feldman and Corey Haim.
I've never seen License to Drive.
Dude.
But that one I've heard of. I know of.
That was my first date. I took this girl that goes, like, my mom picked us up, dropped us off. We watched the movie. Mom picked us up, dropped us off. It was good stuff. All right. So yeah, next week, letter W, The Watchers. What else we have? Patreon. Go check it out. So if you want to find us on social media, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, at Death by Podcast. If you want to support the show and you like us, best thing you can do is talk about it. Go tell people to listen. If you want to support directly, check out Patreon, patreon.com/Death by Podcast, where we have our second bonus mini podcast, BoobTube TV. We talk about a horror related TV show. This week, what did we do? Tales from the Crypt.
Season 2, episode 9.
Episode 9. What was the name of that A four-sided triangle.
A four-sided triangle.
Yeah, cool episode. So we talked about that this week. Next week on Patreon, we're going to do my long-awaited, which I didn't even think of this, dude, because the whole time I was thinking we were doing X, we're doing Werewolf from 1988 TV show. Werewolf
Also,
starts with a
yeah.
W. The Watchers starts with a W. It's meant to be, dude. Meant to be. We couldn't have done that any better. So that's what's happening with us. We don't care what's happening with you. No, I'm kidding. If we do care, so leave us a comment, leave us a like. We answer all our comments, and leave us a review wherever you listen to us. And I think that's all I got. Thanks for listening. I'm your host, Adam. That's your other host,
Kevin.
It's Miller time. Kevin, take it away. Give it a shot. Perfect. Woo, that was intense, that one. Folks, thanks for being here. We will see you next week. It's hip to be square.
There is.